And this leaves Russell to take us away in the lead of this race. And he's now dropped the hammer and goes he does. And Deanarine did not go with him at the start of this one. And this has put Parks Miller on that inside line of Deanarine as we go green now. Deanarine just squeezing Parks Miller. Grass is imminent. And Deanarine nearly putting Parks Miller with two wheels onto the grass. Parks Miller gets out of that one and they get through turn one.
What a hammer drop there from Russell. Completely blindsided Deanarine and Parks Miller. And I think Deanarine also just had to realize he cannot force a driver completely off, but he's actually lost it. Parks Miller moves up into first, and so he just needs to hold his current position and allow the drivers behind to fight it out. So Parks Miller 2 positions up, coming out of Spoon down towards 130R. These 4 Mercedes-Benz are very competitive and highly wanting to take the lead of this race, but it's all going to come down to who can stick it out. Russell's gone down to 4th. And Mayo Deanarine's actually moved up to first. Mark Parks Miller's moved back down to second. But now Carroll squeezed his nose in through the Casio triangle.
Indeed he has. It looked like Parks Miller made a mistake through 130R, was so far off the track that he possibly had to slow down as Russell pulls in front and chops the nose off of Parks. Just in front of him and Jesse Lavrin. Oh, great little fight here. Here's a good gaggle of cars. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars squabbling it out through the snake in towards Dunlop now. And here comes the Ford Mustang up the inside of Garassi's Porsche. He'll be outside though for Degner 1 and Degner 2. I'll tell you what, the Mustang's got the move done. That's a lovely move. And a big 6 seconds gap back to Henriksen in the rear. Back to the front though. There's a change for the lead. Jimmy Carroll side by side with Deanarine. Bit of contact made in the Casio triangle. Now Deanarine shoves him onto the grass. This will give Russell a great run with Deanarine not getting the best of exits. Pulls to that outside line here at turn 1. What's going to happen between our 2 championship protagonists? Russell very wide, looked a little squirrely under braking on the rear for Deanarine, and Russell hangs on for P2. Now you get back on, you leave off the throttle, you just wait, power out of the Spoon corner. A little wiggle there from Russell, just cost him a bit of exit speed, and you can see that because Jimmy Carroll pulls to the inside line now as we head down to the most famous corner in all of World Motorsport. Side by side, 130R, Russell backs out of it before we even get a chance to see them flick it left through the corner.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the main differentiator, especially when you want to try and isolate Am and Pro, is, for example, that corner. I mean, 2 drivers coming into 130R. He has a great dive though from Anderson yet again. My goodness, this guy is working his way up track. A massive dive up on the inside of Coleman there.
For 24th, 5th, 6th and 7th as they all come in towards the hairpin. Parks Miller now within 3/10 of Russell. And what has happened out front? Deanarine has dropped to 4th place. Russell leads from Carroll and now Parks Miller's up into 3rd.
Yeah, something's definitely happened through the Casio triangle or out of 130R. He's riding that curb on the outside and coming into Casio triangle. Was there possibly contact or did he lose it himself? Oh, there was contact actually from Carroll. He's not going to be happy with that drive after that incident. I think Carroll knows that he's actually giving the inside line there. I believe to Mayo Deanarine, he's completely letting him go and he knows what he's done.
And Troy Anderson is on a mission, but Shay, I completely agree with you. He's got to channel that anger as he goes up the inside into Spoon. Troy Anderson
on the Am grid. And I don't even know actually how many we have on the
sorry, Tristan.
grid. Oh,
Russell, drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane. He came straight into the pits. The black flag's next to his name. He got taken out at Spa. He made his own mistake at Daytona. Now he's got himself a drive-through penalty, and he can only put that down to himself.
Deanarine will now go up. And what's happened to Parks Miller?
That's what I was just noticing. No, Parks Miller's done his pit stop. Swiderski there, bang. That's what's happened to Parks Miller. You can't really see him in that sort of blind spot of the corner. There you see the Mercedes just get a glimpse of the rear going round. Oh, he does roll forward ever so slightly.
Oh, yeah, he did.
So he does roll into the path of Parks Miller. So let's see what happens in this one. Here is Jesse Lavrin side by side with Lewis. Jesse Lavrin, if I'm correct, started by the back of the grid and is now running P14. Little bit of contact through 130R.
Another big mention about that. Black flag for
Russell.
Again.
That's a second one. That's got to be a drive-through for off-tracks. That has to be off-tracks. Yeah, there was enough of a gap, and Bettel goes around at Spoon and hard into the wall. Jimmy Carroll, drive-through penalty. The leaders, like we saw in the chat, are dropping like flies. where's Anderson? He's dropped down to 10th. He's had a moment.
10th, yeah.
He's had a moment now. So Anderson's had a moment.
Dino Slayer going, no, what's happened? Oh no, what's happened? As Anderson has lost it.
Same problem.
Into turn 1, same problem he had early on in the race, which dragged him down so far. Just losing the rear, and losing it slightly again, and that's 2 or 3 positions he loses.
And it's not over yet, because in 6 minutes, a lot can still happen. Side by side, Dayton Harrison with Henriksen getting really close. What a move! Right around the outside, Dayton Harrison at Degner 1. Meyer Dienarine has been up and down the top 4 all race long, but he's going to take yet another race win. He wins at Suzuka. Dienarine, round 4 race winner. The pace car comes in, and we're about to go green here at Suzuka for the final time this evening as Marley Joff puts the throttle to the floor and already pulls away from Ballas Palla. The lights will go green imminently, and they pretty much go single file in the top 4 or 5. Over the line they go. Marley Joff extends his lead. Ballas Palla defending in towards turn 1 of the Aston Martin of Grabowski. Up the inside, Grabowski looks coming through the final part of what is called first corner. Into the snake now. They stay single file out the front.
Coming towards the inside of this race.
Yeah, let's keep that as we say that. That is King into the wall hard.
Only one hour race. You have to make up everything that you can in this one. So, and somebody's off. Is that Conright? It is. It's the 3rd incident he's had already. Trying to find the inside. Oh no. This is okay. He pulls in. He pulls in again. I was gonna say 2 wide through 130R. We could have seen something.
Whoa! Marox has lost it on the... How has he not put that in the wall? Marox has saved that somehow and has kept hold of the position.
Grey, white, and red livery as he continues to push around. Soto from Superlap X stays in 15th. He's doing everything he can, and into the insider he will go. And it looks like he's actually managed to make it stick. What a great dive up on the inside from Soto. Pit stops, he will be changing up. Castro gets a black flag through the pit lane, unfortunately. That's going to be a speeding penalty.
Joff is out the pit lane now. We'll await for the timing tower to just catch up with itself as they jostle between each other. It was 3 seconds. I think it was 3.5 seconds, I think, before the pit stop. It is now 5.5. Marley Joff is on another level tonight.
Yeah, the most important part is obviously the exit coming out of 130 on. So obviously people choosing, and that is Presley on the inside of one of the Mercedes drivers and just shunting him off of the Degner there. And he loses it himself as well, unfortunately, on Degner too.
Green coming under pressure from his Superlap teammate of Soto, but here goes Hooverson up the inside. Lenaway's back into the pit lane, so I'm not sure why Lenaway's in the pit. So is Manzoli, but Hooverson looking round the outside on the inside line of Dragotta. Was there a little bit of contact between the two there? Hooverson will still be on the outside line. If he can keep it on that outside line, he will have the inside for the 2 Degners. And Gregory Hooverson, we know he can overtake. He's a cracking driver. Through he goes. Gregory Hooverson all over the back of Marox, and in towards turn 1 he goes. Just going to wait. The door opens up. He slides up the inside. Does Gregory Hooverson. Can't quite get the move done, but he's got the nose on the outside line. We saw him do this with Dragotta. Has to get out of it. Rounds the final corner. Marley Joff is going to win the 4th round of the season. He wins at Suzuka in dominant style. What is going to happen at the Casio Triangle? Anybody late on the brakes to fancy a little move? Car fancies one on the back of Andre, and that's going to allow... that's Andre on the back of Green, and that allows Car to swoop around the outside of Andre to get up into P13 and to gain a place at the very end.
I seem to have sort of a 10th or 2 pace gap to Palla behind, which surprised me, to be fair. I think the Mustang is really, really strong around here. So to have that sort of pace to it was just, I'm baffled. Honestly, I'm baffled.
Yeah. Welcome back to yet another round of racing here at the League by Foxxtecca, season number 2, and we're officially at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for round number 5. Format B comes back to you today after some Format A action at Suzuka last week. My name is Tristan Earps. Joining me in the commentary box today will only be Mr. Shea Wilson and Jim Cunningham in the production box. Unfortunately, Matthew will be sitting this one out, and Shay will be having his first go at a full swing commentary stint. But I think he's going to do an absolutely great job. But like we mentioned, we're here today at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, for some racing in the GT3s. Obviously, we begin with our AM class. But Shay, how are you feeling for today's racing?
I'm absolutely psyched for today's racing. We're on a great track, another iconic one with the Circuit de Catalunya, or Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, excuse me. I've actually been practicing with my team for this upcoming race just to see what the conditions are going to be like, and I think we're up for a really good race. There's a lot of technical corners and a lot of really challenging bits that'll challenge these guys' perception as well as their control of the car. I think we're going to see some good stuff out there today.
Absolutely so. And in terms of our configuration that we're running today, we're at the historic Circa 95. So you'll see it on the left-hand side of your screen there provisionally where we just had it on the cameras. The hairpin corner is the much longer, rounder hairpin corner instead of the sharper bit, as well as the final corner coming out onto the back straight. There is no chicane. It's just going to be a straight swoop downhill towards the start-finish line. And that's what it's looking like. But we do have the point standings for you from previous round at Suzuka, and we're going to have a look at it now for you. The AM standings popping up on your screen now, and there we have it. Mayo Dianorine took the win last week, 12 seconds of a gap to the driver behind, 363 points. He leads from Jimmy Carroll currently with 330 points, so a good 33-point gap for Mayo Dianorine that he gets to hold. Alex Russell down in third position, he's in 287. The Viper, Troy Anderson, I believe the driver of the day last week at Suzuka, from what we saw. And down in fourth currently, 286 points to his name. Caden Parks-Miller will sit 273 points, followed by Evan Davis in sixth. And seventh, Pio Valencia, followed by Clayton Sanchez, Jesse Laverin, and Saul Garza. The rest, you can see it on your screen from Zach Battaglia all the way down. Those are the rest of your drivers. We've also got the pro standings, which will come to you during the pro race. But that is so far our championship standings for the first 4 rounds, and obviously, like we mentioned, we head into the 5th round. We are well past halfway mark in the season, with there only being 8 rounds of racing. And I mean, talking about it, we've only got 3 rounds left, so this is going to start to prove quite difficult as the drivers begin to accumulate as much points as possible.
Yes, this is going to start to prove it's going to be a little bit more chaotic, I think. I think that drivers are now recognizing that as we come to the closing of the series, they kind of need to break out their best. And maybe we might see some more aggressive or even smarter driving. Maybe we might see some battles that just get a little bit heavier out there.
Yeah, absolutely so. And I was just about to talk about the driver who had quite an unfortunate race last week at Suzuka. He's unfortunately not joining us here tonight. It's the likes of Caden Parks-Miller. And if you did watch last week at Suzuka, you'll know that he had quite the unfortunate turn of events. Great qualifying session, and then unfortunately being taken out by a back marker coming out of Spoon. And that kind of ended his race. I see he's no longer here for today's racing, so not too sure if he couldn't make it or if there's something else underlying, but we'll have to see how that goes. We would talk about the normal pit stop strategy window sitting at around the half-an-hour mark, but that will be changing in this as we are on Format B Racing. And if this is the first time you're joining us here at the League by Foxxtecca, Format B Racing, 2 races coming to you tonight, 125-minute sprint race to start it off, and then a 35-minute second race, feature race, but with a top 8 reverse grid, which is going to play very interesting in terms of tonight's action. So keep your eyes peeled for that reverse grid, as we might see some unfamiliar names up on the top.
I think it'd be great that if we see some different names at the top. We've been seeing a lot of the same guys just leading the pack for a lot of the same races. And, of course, they're great, they're fast. But I think it'd be different. It'd be an upset to see some maybe guys in the middle work their way up to the front. Or just see if this format provides a little bit more space and a little bit less anxiety for certain drivers to get their moves out.
Absolutely so. And last week, one thing as we have to mention is the track limits that a couple of the drivers were facing. A lot of penalties being administered, if you can remember, Shay, to both our AB and our pro grids. And most of them actually coming from those track limit warnings. A couple from speeding in and out of the pit lane. Parks-Miller is here, actually, which is great to see that he's coming for another attempt at greatness today. Up in second, he will go with the 141.8. But the drivers will have to be careful here at Barcelona. It's got a lot of runoff, but that also means there is a lot of opportunity to cross over that white line. And by the white line, we do mean the line on the outskirt of the track. You can see it over there from the camera angle here provided by Jim. So if all 4 tires do go over that white line, unfortunately, it will be a couple of incident points coming the driver's way. And after a certain amount of incident points, well, it's not going to look too great for the driver that we're talking about. But with 3 minutes left of qualifying, we've got a couple of drivers who are still completing their laps. Like we mentioned, Caden Boxmiller is indeed here. He's been moved down to 4th right now with a 141.8, but Russell sits again up with a 140.8. But I mean, Shay, we gotta fight the whole thing about Russell. Will he be able to keep that pole and you know, try and convert it in the race, or are we going to see something else?
I believe that Russell's lead is. I can't say it's definite. It's racing. We can't say it's definite, but I think he's consistent enough to maybe pull out another one, or at least a podium.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have to see what he can do today. We're trying to find a driver here who's going to start their next lap shortly. I do see a couple of them coming around. We can go up to 4th position currently on the grid with Caden Parks-Miller. He's coming around to round off. Never mind. He's taken out one of Shay's members. Very unfortunate there, but he continues going. Yeah, that one hurt. But in any case, here we go. We're on board with Caden Parks-Miller, and this is going to be your onboard track map, as we don't have a live display track map for you in today's race, but I sometimes feel that an onboard is slightly better. Downwards into Elf Corner, the Elf chicane up towards Renault, and this is going to be on board with Caden Parks-Miller. It's a very downhill swooper that you do have to watch out for those curbs and not losing the rear of your car. And then we head into the right-hander of Renault, and you have to be very careful about how you take this corner. You can be washed out wide, and that can completely ruin your lap time. Under the Repsol bridge, you will go and into Repsol corner through the right-hander. And again, that left-hand side is quite a hefty track limit. You do not want to go too far out onto the grass. Then into the blind breaker, there's absolutely barely any braking points coming into the seat hairpin, and the drivers do have to navigate it quite carefully. Same with the exit over there. They have to watch out for not exceeding track limits. After that, they head into Worth. The left-hander, again, on the right-hand side, a huge sausage curb that if you do take the entrance to that corner wrong, you are going to be flattened by that sausage curb. The right-hander lifter coming out through Kamsa, now into the back straight of Barcelona. Oh, a little bit of a push and shove there from Parks-Miller as he's trying to get this lap time on into La Caixa, the left-hander hairpin, which is what we would normally see in the Formula One racing, but now using the further out outside layout. And I'm not going to lie to you, I do prefer the layout, and that goes into Bank Sabadell, which is the right-hander, leading up towards the final couple of corners in today's racing. Then we enter the Europe car chicane, which isn't actually a chicane in the historical layout, and that is officially a qualifying lap down, but he was about to finish his lap in any case. New Holland is your final corner, rounding off this 1 minute and 40-second lap time, and back onto the main straight you will go. But that is roughly what your lap will be looking like here today at Circuit de Barcelona. Let's get started though with our start. Yeah, go for it, Jay. You take us off.
So to start, we've got in first place Jimmy Carroll. Second place Evan Davis. Third, I'm sorry, I'm having some problems with my screen. Excuse me. Alex Russell. And fourth, Mayor Deanarine. Fifth, Troy Anderson. Sixth, Jeffrey Hong. Seventh, Kamari Odom, followed by Andre Saba in eighth. Caden Parks-Miller in ninth. Dayton Harrison in 10th, Kingston Mullins in 11th, followed by Clayton Sanchez in 12th.
Yeah, and then from 13 onwards, we've got Aaron Sunday. He's down to 13th. Quite a famous guy in the virtual grandstand. Let's hope he gets the same support in today's racing. Benjamin Betchel takes 14th with Alan Ware down in 15th. Pierre Alejandro Valencia will take 16th for the Vexter Racing team. Zachary Battaglia, 17th position, followed by Lewis Holloway from Canberra and Costa. Julian Reese will take 19th. Followed by Justin Kluber in 20th position. That closes off the 10th row of racing here today. Shelton Lewis takes 21st for the Clutches Night crew, followed by Kenton Young. Thomas Natali takes 23rd, and Jesse Laverin takes 24th on this 12-row grid.
On to 25th, we have Saul Garza. 26th being Uven Sandiragama. 27th, Jacob Swope, followed by Jacob Perry. In 29th, Rain Woodside. 30th, Alex Calvash, sorry about that, followed by Ken Majori in 31st. John Smallwood in 32nd, followed by Edward Ramirez in 33rd, Samuel Burnett in 34th, Ethan Halfhide in 35th, and Alexis Barrington in 36th.
Then your final drivers before we head to the start of this race. From 37th, it's Kristen Montgomery from Team Foxxtecca. Richard Swiderski takes 38th alongside her. Paul Collishaw takes 39th. The Prince Stream Porsche Racing car will start a little bit further back today. Joel Coleman starts 40th. The Zachary Wood in 41st. Louis Martinez will take 42nd. And the young gun Landon Batson, who had technical issues last week at Suzuka, is back at it today. 43rd position, the last car on grid, but will have all the positions to try and gain in today's racing. Our virtual grandstand is going wild as it normally is in our AM, and we've got to say a huge thank you to all of our supporters that just make the racing alive in the virtual grandstand. I'm seeing so many people talking about their favorite driver, but in any case, here we go. It's what they're all been waiting for. The gantry lights are ready. The marshal's on the left-hand side. He's already pulled away, and Jimmy Carroll's actually moved up to first. So Alex Russell's down to 4th position currently. Well, that's at least what the timings tower is telling me, but it still looks like he's up in front. No, indeed, Alex Russell is a little bit further behind. Jimmy Carroll has got the lead of this race, and coming into turn number 1, he seems to be holding it quite decently. Mayor Noreen and Evan Davis has been quite a contender since last week at Suzuka. He's now in 3rd position, trying to progress. Troy Anderson, the Viper, is also in this top 5 fight, and he's trying to keep up with the pack up in front, but Jimmy Carroll's gotten such a great pull-off from the start-finish line, and a great pull so far from the drivers as they come up through Renault, and looks like it's been a relatively okay first chicane. We'll have to see how the rest of the lap goes as we see most of the cars coming through, and there we see all the cars coming through, and Merck's off on the grass in the back, and not too short, 3 wide though, into seat, and looks like they thankfully managed it. Oh, there's a McLaren who's unfortunately lost it, but other than that, a pretty good start to our lap, I'd say so, Shay.
I'd say so. It seems as though Carroll's pulled way forward right off the jump, and that's going to be a great advantage to him as the race goes on. There's a few incidents, just a few off tracks as the race has started. We saw that purple McLaren just go in a circle just now. What happened there?
Yeah, that was Jeffrey Hong. Looks like a little bit of traction loss on the rear side as he was just trying to get in grips with the track left, and Evan Davis is a little bit further behind, and he also got an off track, so 3 positions down. You have to get a bit of a slowdown there, and we'll have to see how that goes. You'll see your live timings tower up on the left hand side once we see those times begin to accumulate. And here we come around to complete the first lap. It is still Jimmy Carroll leading the huge 42 car grid, I believe it was. Sorry, 43 cars. We've got 2 cars who have not started in today's racing, though. But, oh, it's all to play for. You can see it in the background. We're getting a little bit slicey and dicey in the back there. You can see Kingston Mullings is fighting quite a lot. Harrison is also moving up into 7th position now. And, oh, somebody's gone off. That's one of the Clutches night crew who's just not been able to find the right-hander coming into the main straight of Holland Corner. But Carroll, 2.2 seconds ahead. I've got to say, Shay, if he keeps this up, he's got a race win on his hands here for race number 1.
I believe if he can keep himself composed for the entire race, he literally shot off from everybody after the green.
Indeed he did, and that's all he's going to be doing yet today, is just trying to keep up ahead. There's Alan Ware a little bit further down in 12th position, and he's got Battaglia up in front, or I believe as the family wants us to pronounce this as Battaglia, which is the actual pronunciation of it, which I got to lie, it's quite a cool racing name if you have to ask me. Young is dropping off. What's happened to Young? Kenton Young has dropped off in his Porsche. Not too sure what's happened over there. We'll try and get a replay possibly if it was a self-error or conflict with some other drivers. Alex Russell is gaining on Jimmy Carroll now. It was 2.2 seconds heading into Renault. And now heading into the Keixer curve, it is 1.7 seconds between the two of them. And let's see how that is going to turn out. But lap 2 of racing, and everything is looking relatively good so far.
Indeed, Tristan. Excuse me. I wanted to point out that all the times are looking pretty good as they come around a lot of the corners in the back part of the course. I've noticed that this circuit, especially this layout, has a lot of mid-corners that, well, sorry, not mid-corners, but corners that require really precise throttle control. And I would say that it's pretty good that these guys can keep the times between each other without dropping off too far. And that tells me that a lot of these guys have practiced this track. They've been ready for today.
Yeah, they have been practicing non-stop. And Shay, something you could also do if you really do want to is try and have a bit of a squeeze and scan at that virtual grandstand, and we can possibly try and address a couple of those comments, because it is pouring comments in that grandstand, and it is such a blessing to see as well as we go live here with race number 1. As we now see Evan Davis for position. Here's Louis Martinez, lap number 1 incident. This is something we didn't see. This is from the Clutches Night crew. Unfortunately, Shay, close your eyes here. This might be bad. As they head into turn number 1 up towards Renault. Was there possibly contact? Oh, self-driver error on the curb exit, and you do have to watch out for the car bottoming out. That's unfortunately an entire rear spoiler loss, and that bumper will be hanging off there. It drops off in the middle of the track. It will land. And that McLaren's going to be very unstable to hold for the next couple of laps, depending on when he decides to come in. We've got a couple more replays as they all pull in from lap number 1. So that was Louis Martinez. After Louis Martinez, we're going back to live for a bit. You'll see it now. This is Ken Majuri, I believe, also in lap number 1. And this is, slightly afterwards. That's 2 Ferraris off. That is a tandem spoiler break off. I don't think I've seen that before. That was 100% sync damage between the 2 of them, and that is huge damage on Ken Majuri's car. Also part of the Clutches Night crew, so a little bit of a difficult one there for the team, Shay.
This is shaping up to be kind of a rough first few laps. I think that the guys might just settle into it a little bit later on. I don't think that everyone always has the best race, so maybe today just might not be their day, but that's totally okay as long as they run their race.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got quite a couple of incidents to show you. A couple of them will be slightly quick as we're trying to get through them. This is Ethan Halfhide. And again, alongside one of the Clutches Night crew, there's Collishaw a bit further behind in his Prince Stream Porsche. What happened? This is Barrington, though. A replay of, I believe this was the car that went off. Oh, indeed it is. It's Clutch again touching the backside of another one of the McLarens in the Marlboro livery. And they both go off on the left-hand side. But fortunately for Barrington, he doesn't meet the wall. I'm not too sure what happened to the other McLaren. He possibly zoned out into the wall. And I believe that might be all that we've got so far in terms of the starting chaos. And we'll go back up live. Jimmy Carroll, 1.4 seconds ahead.
I got to tell you, Tristan, this is definitely going to be an awkward family dinner after this race.
I would say so myself. This is going to be a bit of a lecture from Shay's side. It's good luck to you. I'm glad I'm not in that one. I'll be in bed after this one. So good luck to the Clutches Night crew, guys. Maybe someone can warn them that Shay, the big boss, is coming for them. No, all jokes aside, though, the racing is still great. We've still got a lot of time to play with. And remember, that's a contact. Kamari Odom takes out Alan Webb. He's down to 15th position. And did he save the spoiler? Yes, he did. He did hit the wall. But he's managed to keep the spoiler on the car. It'll still be able to turn like a proper GT3 car, but he's going to have to watch out for that rear end damage.
And as we look at everybody coming back down the straight, that red Porsche is just so cool to look at.
Yeah, from Kamari Odom's side. I'm going to try and go through our virtual grandstand. We've got so much going on in here. There's lots of we've got some Landon Batson getting some praises. Harrison's getting some praises in here. We've got Sunday getting a shout out. Dion's getting a shout out. Evan Davis is getting a shout out, and it's all thanks to the amazing virtual grandstand members as they continue to watch for the next couple of races, and we hope that we can provide them, well, the drivers can provide them all the entertainment. Alex Barrington is a woman. Alexis Barrington. Major apologies there for the driver in 34th position. So we've got another female on grid, which is absolutely amazing to see, and currently actually alongside Kristen Montgomery, so the two will be tackling each other for the following positions up for 34th position. Huge apologies about that one, but thankfully it was early on and we can continue to address it normally for the remainder of the races. Shay, I feel like you should have told me that, man. She's a part of your team.
I'm sorry. I thought I would have mentioned that. I thought I mentioned that before. That's my fault. We've got another set of incidents as we move on here. There's so much going on in these first few laps. I hope that it's not all my guys, and if it is, maybe this is just a really, really tough day. The Circuit de Catalunya has a lot of just these like turns and things that can throw people off, and maybe that's just what's happening today.
Yeah, definitely so. And we're gonna have to see what's gonna happen next through Foxxtecca here, and there's John Smallwood of the Clutches Night crew. But fortunately here today, with Matthew being gone, we do also have somebody else who will be jumping on the mic a bit, and that is indeed The one and only cameraman Jim Cunningham, which if you didn't know, in the virtual grandstand has also got some special arts on the microphone, so he'll be joining us. Jim, what's the impressions been so far in the first couple of laps?
I mean, short of the Clutch's night crew taking out half the field, it's been good so far. Good racing. No, I'm kidding. Hey, welcome to commentary, man. When you admit that you're part of a team and then they start doing all the damage, you get the flack that goes along with it. That's how it all works out. No, it's been good racing so far. I mean, it's a tough track, and there's a lot of cars on track. You're going to see a lot of incidents, but yeah, I'm super excited to be here, and I'm going to try to chime in a little bit as we go along, just to offer my perspective since Matthew's not here.
Yeah, it's great stuff. It's always good to have a fresh voice out on the microphone, and we'll hope to hear you a bit more as we go on. He has 9 minutes into the SAM race, and currently on board with Aaron Sunday. Again, what a great delivery from him, and he's also receiving so much love in the virtual grandstand. Alex Russell, though, and here's where it's going to start to get a bit challenging shape, because Jimmy Carroll was having quite a nice clean sweep up in front, but Russell is back at it again. If he can keep the car on all four wheels, unfortunately, I know it's an unfortunate thing to say, but just due to the reputation that he's built over the past couple of races, he's got to try and keep that car going in second position. Let's hope he can. Natali fighting alongside Laverin now, and it is the Mercedes versus the Porsche, two different driving styles around Barcelona. And one will have advantage on the straights, one will have advantage through the right and left-handers, especially the faster ones. And so we'll have to see how this plays out. But the Porsche is trapped between the front engine chaos. He's got a Ford up in front. Oh, Laverin's found the grass, and he actually almost rejoins into the Porsche. But Natali, not getting that slowdown from the gravel, will keep his place up in 18th position. 10 minutes down, though, and the racing is definitely still at a large scale.
Absolutely, and as we come around this curve, we see Aaron Sunday behind race in one of my favorite drivers on the grid as well. Also another really composed driver. Aaron Sunday's coming up behind, trying to catch the draft.
Aaron Sunday, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, down in 17th, chasing onto the backside of Reese and Holloway. He has Natali and Laverin again fighting, and now Klubine's actually gotten ahead of the whole pack at 3 now. In his big Ford Mustang. Unfortunately, no livery on there. No, he does. Sorry, it looked plain from the front. It's actually just a super sleek Mustang livery. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a big fan of that as they continue to go around the track. But Natali still 18th position, 5 positions up from the KTX Blackout team. He's going a little bit wide, though. He's got to watch out for that one. That curb can definitely bounce the Porsche in the wrong direction. Someone's off in the gravel at the back. It's Klubine. He's completely lost it down to 25th. I'm not too sure he's dropped off. It is the Ford Mustang that was challenging all these drivers, and I believe he's just had a bit of an error over the sausage curb we just mentioned. We'll try and get a bit of a replay. I did see him bounce around there in the background, so here he is alongside Jesse Laverin, and just coming into the entrance of the left-hander now after seat. Was there possibly an entrance or exit error? A little bit wide, touches the backside of Laverin, and just enough to completely throw the Mustang off balance.
Basically, he spun that car to avoid hitting the Porsche in the rear there. You could tell he realized he got in there too deep, and he stomped the brakes pretty hard and turned the wheel. I think he knew what he was doing there, trying to avoid causing that wreck.
Yeah, absolutely so. But driver also to mention, up a couple of positions already is Joe Coleman, 16 positions up. He's currently in 24th position. What an absolute climb from him, all the way from 40th up to 40th up to 24th, rocking a pretty clean BMW livery. He's here to race. He's not yet to show off on the cameras, but he's here to show off on lap times, and he's doing exactly that. 16 positions up, and he's going to continue moving up as he's got Garza, Woodside, Betchel up in front that he's going to be trying to catch up on. Perry's lost out to Swiderski down in 29th. Looks like a relatively clean overtake from what we can see on the timings tower. But other than that, the racing is still going on. 13 minutes, halfway mark now of the AM Race 1.
Sorry about that. I was dealing with some technical issues. My mic had just gone on and off. But as we go back into Laverin's car, he's actually got one of my also favorite liveries of this entire lineup. The Camber Caster team has got one of the most eye-popping liveries I've seen on the track. I haven't seen him up front very much, which makes me kind of sad. I like to see that livery. I wish I was seeing him up in the top 10. But he is keeping composed. I haven't seen as many incidents from him today as I've seen from many of the other drivers.
Yeah, and Lewis Holloway also part of the same team. They're both up there in the Camberg Costa. I think I saw some smoke in the background there. I don't know if that was a driver off in a different sector. Unfortunately, we won't be able to know quite clearly. I do see Calvach dropping off a bit, as well as
Samuel
Jeffrey
Burnett.
Hong. Jeffrey Hong is dropping off a lot, so something's happened to Jeffrey Hong. Yes, Samuel Burnett, he's down in fifth, down 5 positions from the start. On the exit again, the 296 goes around, and that's another spoiler collected. How many spoilers are we going to have to collect for our collection here today, guys? This is, 5 already that we've lost now, and that's going to be a difficult card to tow back to the pit lane. We'll try and get what happened to Hong. He's down 27 positions since race start. He started all the way up in 6th position, and he has not had the best of times yet today at Barcelona. This is going into the Kikes, a left-hander. What happens to Jeffrey Hong? Was it a bit of a late dive? Gets a little bit of a tap from the driver behind, and that's the spin around for Hong. 29 positions down, and only extending it further, 31 positions down now, and he's actually out of the race. So after this replay, something more has happened. So not too sure where he sits currently live, but he's dropped off drastically now off of this grid.
I actually almost thought he was going to get away from that when we looked at the replay for a little bit. It seemed as if his side was avoided by just an inch until the driver that pushed him off just pushed the throttle just a little bit more.
Yeah, and continuing to race on, though, the top 2, Carroll, Russell, 6/10 difference. Davis is catching up to Anderson, and that's going to be quite a battle. It's the Viper, the comeback Viper from last week at Suzuka, who had quite a great challenge, but now he's got pressure from the big purple Mustang, and you can see Davis looking all over. He's actually going to make the dive. He looks on the inside line, forces Anderson to the outside. Thankfully, no overtake there. That would have been too risky. Davis will move slightly back. He's losing time, though, due to that dive, taking the inside line and reducing all of that straight line speed. But he's still going to be on the backside of the Viper. It is green versus purple. It's Hulk smash time here as they come through the next couple of sectors. Aaron Sunday's all at the back of Reese now. We did mention that he was catching up, but he's officially on the backside now of the 358 BMW. And what can the purple liveried Mercedes do? Sunday taking a slightly better line through Renault. You can see he's holding a lot closer to that curb, trying to carry the speed through. He's looking up the inside line now, trying to get a bit of more of the debris side of the track into Repsol. They will go. And let's see, is Aaron Sunday getting a slightly better rotation on this Merc? Is he finding time where the 358 of Reese is not? Into seat they will go now through the left-hander. You can see the brakes being applied by the BMW. Slightly poor on the exit there. Oh, Sunday loses it a bit. He is able to catch it, but that's going to reduce his time quite a lot. He is faster in the first sector compared to Sunday. That's Labyrinth. Apologies. You can see there Sunday. Reese is actually faster through sector 1 due to that spin-off there that Aaron Sunday had. Now coming up through Kykes on the back straight, though. Sunday is going to want to try and push around. There's a back marker already as they're trying to limp it around the track. And Sunday hopefully can catch up to Reese soon and give us yet another battle to talk about.
It seems that Reese is really just putting his foot down in the right places. Every time we see Sunday go back, Reese just gets a little bit farther. And up towards the front, we have Russell and Carroll again. Both of these guys putting on a masterclass in the race right now, keeping on track, keeping everything just composed. And Carroll's held his first place position for a pretty decent amount of time in this race, but we have the reputation of Russell as both the comeback kid and just a guy that's usually fighting from wherever position he is. However, I'm just worried that Russell is going to overdrive the car trying to catch up again.
Yeah, that is some great points you've mentioned. And if you've only joined us here for this round of racing for round number 5, you will know that Russell has had, he's a little bit of a Mr. Saturday, if you have to ask me, a bit of a George Russell in the making here. He's great in qualifying, and he just hasn't had the best of times in the races. He seems to find the unfortunate moments of either having an incident himself by losing the rear of that Mercedes or tapping it to someone else, and that just completely drives him away from any form of race win. And so let's see if he can keep it today. Dean Areen, the Mr. Livery creative, I've officially nicknamed him. He's yet again rocking a new livery on that Mercedes in 3rd position. He was in the blue Asus Mercedes. He then went to the cherry blossom pink Mercedes for Suzuka. And when we switch over to him up in 3rd, we'll see what livery he's rocking today. I did see it's a red and silver livery. Yeah, Sol Garza, there he is there. And yet again, another masterpiece by iRacing of Mayo Areen. And look at the chrome compartments on that. What a great show of design work there on that Mercedes.
It kind of reminds me of the Virgin Airlines airplanes, if you've ever seen those from back in the day.
Yeah, it actually kind of does. I get what you're saying there with iRacing. as they continue. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was agreeing with you. Sorry about that.
No, all good, all good. Sanchez gets a yellow flag, and Battaglia still up in 10th. He's still trying to chase it around track. A bit more love to the drivers. 22nd is the likes of Bechtel, not Bechtel, apologies. In 22nd, he's chasing onto the backside of Gaza for the battle for 21st position. Deonarin 3 seconds away from Russell now. He's in a bit of a no man's land, as well as Anderson and Davis. What's happened to Davis? He's lost all of that gap he was building up. Here's Zach Battaglia on the backside of Kingston Mullings now, trying to look all over. It's the orange Toy Story looking Mustang on the outside line now of the green Mustang, and he's going around the outside line of Repsol. Can he hold it though and not get pushed off track here by Kingston Mullings? It is two drivers trying to make their way, the big Mustangs, and it is indeed Battaglia who moves up into 9th now. Through seat he will go. Can he get the runoff though to keep it up in front? And indeed he does. Great overtake there from Battaglia. Unfortunately, Mullings loses out of place there. Russell is taking the lead of the race. He's now caught up to Carroll, and he's moved up. What a great overtake through Kyksa. And I believe it was a bit of a lunge. I saw him jump from quite a far distance back. And now it's the green Mercedes who takes over from the other green Mercedes. Russell back up into P1, where he normally sits during that qualifying session.
This is a whole replay of their exchange back and forth.
The whole replay of the back and forth between them. This is through Kyksa where it starts. Earlier on the brakes there, check the dive from Alex Russell. A little bit of contact between the two, and looks like he actually made the position stick with one go. There wasn't too much back and forth. You could see Carroll was looking to see if there's maybe an opportunity to get back around, but unfortunately nothing there. Russell closes the door, and they continue to push around. Hopefully the racing can stay clean between the top two here.
Absolutely. These two are some absolute beasts on the track today. Russell, of course, living by his reputation and taking the first position, but will he be able to hold it, and will he be facing some pressure from Carroll in the back? We'll see as the race goes on.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I've seen Anderson's name now 7 times in the past 7 comments of the virtual grandstand. And he's receiving a lot of love to try and chase. Again, they're trading paints. It's Alex Russell and Jimmy Carroll scratching up against each other. On the inside again from Jimmy Carroll now, going on the attack against Russell, and a little bit of an upset Russell over there. Quite a bit of an aggressive flash from the back there, and not happy with how that overtake was made. He gets shunted yet again down to 2nd. But guess what? Who's catching up? The lap time is down from 2.4 to 1.4 due to the fighting. Deonarin is going to join this 3-way fight, and further back, the driver I just mentioned, Anderson, is going to join this fight as well. You can see he's slowly but surely making his way. Davis is also there. Hopefully he can accumulate yet to make a top 5 fight. We would absolutely love to see that. 3 wide almost. Yeah, Aaron Sunday is contesting Jesse Laverin now, and he moves up. It's a bit of a bump and shove there. He's got the inside line though, coming onto the back straight, and Aaron Sunday's got the position. He's made it stick. 16th position now for the OHND racer, and ahead of Laverin he will go. Kamari Odom now looking. There's a huge train of cars behind, all fighting each other respectively. Laverin holds the inside against Odom, and it looks like Sunday's made the clearance pass now. Odom gets forced out wide, and he will have to concede that position. But what great amount of action we're experiencing here in the AM Race 1, and they always know how to put on a show, don't they?
Absolutely. These guys know that they're here to perform, and they're here to be fast, and they never well, they spin, but they never disappoint for the most part. I'm actually really eager to see how the pro races are going to go, and I'm glad to see these guys just outrunning today. Bechtel going onto the dirt and coming back on, and we see Rain Woodside fighting and defending against Saul Garza. Saul looking to get the pass on Woodside.
Just not making it stick there through turn number 1, and he'll have to try and keep it clean yet again. That was through Elf Corner, now coming up to Renault. And it is going to be Rain Woodside on the backside. He's still trying to keep on strong behind the driver there of I believe that's Sol Garza on the backside of Woodside. And here we have Bechtel, Benjamin Bechtel down in 23rd on Coleman, who's I believe he's currently the highest amount of points gained. I don't know if we have that metric up for you in today's racing to see the amount of positions gained. Fortunately, we don't, but I believe it might be the likes of Coleman. He's up a drastic amount, 18 positions up. Unfortunately, the counter opposite for Jeffrey Hong, 30 positions down in today's racing. and he's not going to be too happy about that one. Jesse Laverin still 17th position. Odom and Natalia now fighting. It's too wide behind there, coming onto the back straight between the drivers, and that's coming out of Kamsa corner into Kyksa. They will go, and where's it going to be? Almost 3 wide. Rain Woodside is looking on the inside, but he does get blocked off, and Kamari Odom will hold it, and it's a couple of shuffling from behind. The concertina effect looking quite rough into the hairpin, and we almost saw a little bit of bumper to bumper. A huge dive up on the inside, though, from Gaza, and a bit too late on the brakes there against Coleman, and they do make contact. Unfortunately, Gaza loses out. Coleman doesn't lose out too much, but he's going to lose out to Kenton Young as well. A little bit of action, though, between the two of them. Thankfully, not too much of action in terms of hitting the wall, and they'll continue to try and go around the track. Unfortunate, though, to see the two of them make contact.
As we look back towards Jesse Laverin, we see him fighting with Aaron Sunday.
Yep, and Sunday.
Sunday just got an off track and what looks like a back and forth between these two in these sets of corners. We'll take a look at the replay. Sunday comes up, goes on the inside, and catches. He seems to be doing. Oh, he catches the off track coming back around that corner. I guess he was coming in just way too hot.
Yeah, trying to keep the speed up, and unfortunately, oh, he's lost that again. Sunday's lost it, and that is so unfortunate to see. We were watching the replay of the off track, but he's lost it. Coming out of Repsol, it looks like, and into the tire barrier he will go. That Merc is sniffing the rubber, and unfortunate for him there. Thankfully, doesn't lose out too much, but that's going to be quite a contention. The lead is again changing, and it's checkered flag coming through now. 25 minutes. Russell's got the lead of this race. We're in replay mode. I don't even know if this is the live view, and it says replay up on the top, but I see Russell is wiggling like a madman. I don't know if he's won this race yet. As he comes across, he has indeed won the race. Russell moves up into first after those last minute fights, and across the checker flag he will go. Apologies for missing that one. Forgot that this is such a short race. We're so used to the 1 hour slot. Carroll slots in behind him, Darren Noreen behind him, and Anderson and Davis just not enough time to catch up there. Saba will take 6th position, but what a great race one that we got to see here, Shay.
It was a great race. There was so much going on that I actually managed to forget that we're doing a short format for this race today myself. I'd expected to see a lot more laps as these guys like set up as they usually do to fight through the last few.
Yeah, not gonna lie to you, it confused me a bit when Jim gave us the checkered flag call, but I completely forgot. We're a 25-minute race here, and as all the drivers now, Collishaw and Perry still have to come across the line a little bit further down on the grid, and a couple of drivers not finishing in today's race. Louis Martinez and Samuel Burnett down on the backside. Uvan Sandiragama, 41st for him. He has Alexis Barrington down in 35th position, trying to make her way around track still. And still only coming through La Kykes now. It's going to be a bit of a while before she finishes this track. Batson and Ware still up in front of her. Montgomery's come across the checkered flag. Hong has gotten a black flag penalty on the final corner from possibly a track limit, and that's just going to burn the wound even further. Very unfortunate for Hong there. He's had quite an experience around today, around the track for race number 1, and further another 40-second penalty with that black flag. He's not going to be happy about that one.
Not at all. There were tons of incidents throughout this first race, but to end the way that he did, it must sting a little bit. But there is race number 2.
Absolutely. And Shay, take us through the results.
So in first, we have Alex Russell, followed by Jimmy Carroll and Mayor Dianorine, followed by Troy Anderson, followed by Evan Davis in 5th, Andre Saba in 6th, Dayton Harrison in 7th, followed by Caden Parks Miller in 8th, Zachary Battaglia in 9th, followed by Kingston Mullings in 10th, Clayton Sanchez in 11th, Pio Alejandro Valencia in 12th, Shelton Lewis in 13th, followed by Lewis Holloway in 14th. 15th is Julian Reese, followed by Jesse Laverin in 16th, Thomas Natali in 17th, and Kamari Odom in 18th.
Yeah, and then from 19th onwards, we'll see it as well in the starting procedure for the second race over here. And so we'll kind of just give a bit of an overview of it from 90. You can see Rain Woodside, Benjamin Bechtel, Joe Coleman, Sol Garza, Kenton Young, Justin Klubine, Edward Ramirez, and Richard Spadurski, 26. Paul Collishaw, 27th, with Jacob Perry down in 28. Jacob Swope, Aaron Sunday down in 30th after that spin, and John Smallwood, 31st. Landon Baxton takes 32nd, 33rd for Alan Ware, Alexis Barrington 34th, with Jeffrey Hong 35th. 36th will be Kirsten Montgomery, Zachary Wood 37th. Ken Majori, Ethan Harford, Uven Sanderigama down in 40th. Alex Kovac takes 41st, with Louis Martinez and Samuel Burnett, the two drivers not finishing today's racing, 42nd and 43rd to them, respectively. Apologies about the swiftness of that. It's just because we're going to be going through it again for the starting procedure for race number 2. But an important thing to remember, that reverse grid for the top 8 is going to be crucial. It means that Jeremy Carroll will be starting, Alex Russell will be starting in 8th position. And so that's going to be quite an interesting flip to see what happens there with him. We do have a bit of a warm-up session going on as the drivers continue to go around track, trying to keep everything nice and tidy before the next 35-minute header.
So I'll jump in here real quick, and we got Deanna Reen here on camera. You know, we talk about liveries every week. Of course, I have my opinions, just usually behind the camera, and not speaking out on the mic. But if you base it on one livery, I think Deanna Reen has potential with that Cherry Blossom livery to win for the whole season. That was such an amazing livery. But if you factor in all the different liveries that he's throwing up each and every week, I mean, it's like, it's almost like a runaway to me, because it's every week. He's literally bringing just an amazing livery every week. This is a fantastic livery right here.
Yeah, it's super clean. The shine from the sun on the chrome, and I mean, he's doing this every week, like you mentioned. And what I love as well is that he's making it track specific. I don't know if the red has anything to do with Barcelona's flag. I know last week the cherry blossom was all to do with cherry blossom season in Japan, and that was such a great fit as well around Suzuka. I Hate Onions saying, is there another race today? Indeed there is, good sir. We've got another race coming to you for the AM, and that's 35-minute. And then after that, we've got a bit of an interview slot. I believe Greg Hooverson will be on the interview with Chris. And then we've got the entire thing again with the Pro Class. So we've got a lot of racing for you today. I hope you don't go anywhere. I see you've been filling up the virtual grandstand, so let's hope you stay and watch all the action up until the end of Pro. I know it's quite a long while, but here we go. The starting procedure has officially been ordered. Caden Foxmiller will be starting in first position. Dayton Harrison takes second, with Andre Saba in third, with Evan Davis fourth. Troy Anderson takes fifth. He's ahead of all the big hitters. Now made Doreen in sixth, with Jimmy Carroll in seventh. And Alex Russell starts eighth position in today's racing from that top 8 split. Zach Battaglia down in ninth position, with Kingston Mullings in 10th. Clayton Sanchez 11th, with Pierre Alejandro Valencia down in 12th. 13th onwards, go for it, Shay.
In 13th, we have Shelton Lewis, followed by Lewis Holloway in 14th. Julian Reese in 15th, followed by Jesse Laverin in 16th. Thomas Natali in 17th, followed by Kamari Odom in 18th, with Rain Woodside on 19th, followed by Benjamin Bechtel in 20th place. Joe Coleman in 21st, Saul Garza in 22nd, Kenton Young 23rd, followed by Justin Klubine in 24th.
Yeah, and that about wraps up the top 12 rows. Edward Ramirez takes 25th. Richard Sudersky will take 26th. The pace car is officially off. And Paul Collishaw from Tuma Racing, 27th. Jacob Perry and Jacob Swope, 28th and 29th. The Battle of the Jacobs, with Aaron Sunday down in 30th. John Smallwood will take 31st. And Landon Batson moves up to 32nd after the previous race. Great amount of positions gained there. Alan Ware, 33rd. Alexis Barrington and Jeffrey Hong, 34th and 35th respectively. And Kristen Montgomery in 36th. I'll take it for these last few. It's Zachary Wood with Ken Majori in 38th. Ethan Harford will take 39th. Uvinson Derigama, unfortunately not having the best of races, down in 40th, with Alex Carvach 41st. And Louis Martinez and Samuel Burnett will be starting exactly where they left off in race number 1. Unfortunately missing the start there. And we'll have to see where they go. But we're officially at the checkered flag. And Shay, let's see how you go for it, man. Let's take it away for the starting line.
Let's see how it goes for the start of the race as the lights come up. Hopefully this time around everyone's got their foots just a little bit more planted in their minds, and they're not going to be spinning on the first lap. As we go, green Mercedes takes first place. Mercedes have been dominating so far this entire season. So let's see how this first lap goes. As they come into the first corner, everyone goes in pretty clean.
Pretty clean indeed up and... Yeah, go for it.
Oh, no, you can go on. I'm sorry about that.
No, all good. Up to Renault they will go now. And again, it's been a dominating pull from Caden Foxmer. It looks like race 1 all over again. It's a match livery of Carroll. And it's the two drivers are part of the same team. He's done the same thing his teammate did in race number 1 and pulled away. Now Dayton Harrison's trying to keep it up in second there. And as you can see, the race of the grid pulling neatly now. Out of Repsol, that's huge contact between two cars. And that's off coming into seat. Massive damage for Coleman. And one of the KTX Blackouts, that could be Natali. And that was massive, massive contact between the two. Unfortunately, a bit of a nose swipe there for Coleman. And off into the wall he goes. Not something we wanted to see at lap number 1. More contact. That's Davis into the wall. He will go. One of the favorites in the virtual grandstand. And he's been booted off to the side of the track, unfortunately. No damage, it looks like, on that Mustang. But unfortunate start there for the driver who was contesting for the podium. And for the rest of the drivers still trying to filter in. There we see Dion Areen. He's trying to filter through the rest of the drivers in 6th position now and make his way after the flip. He's currently in contention with Clayton Sanchez and Kingston Mullings, who's currently up in 5th position. And 5 places up for Kingston Mullings. What a great jump up in terms of this race. Zach Battaglia also 5 positions up from his side. Up into 4th he goes. But what a little bit of a portion of contact we had there between two drivers. We'll try and get the replay there of what happened to Coleman. And not too sure the other driver was. It was one of the KTX Blackout drivers. Could have been Natali. There's Anderson in the background. He's lost out massively. Troy Anderson, 12 positions down. Oh, one of the McLarens of the night screw is sideways. And oh my goodness, he almost collects Davis, trying to keep control of his car. Oh my goodness, this has been an eventful lap 1.
An insanely eventful lap 1. I literally... Oh, it's not over. I just said that we probably weren't going to see as much spinning and binning from the first lap, and as soon as I've said that, it's all gone.
Yeah, it's gone crazy again through Alf and up towards Renault. That's another portion of contact. Good luck, Jim. I know you wanted to speak on the mic, but you've got your hands full now with replays you've got to go through. We've got quite a bit of action we've got to go back and look at. As we still have all the drivers, we'll get your live timing tower up on the left-hand side. Kingston Mullings now fighting still very, very tightly with Clayton Sanchez. There you can see it, Odom and Laverin switch positions in 10th and 11th as they continue to try and go around the track. But my goodness, what an eventful start to this race. The two Costa and Camber teammates are a lot closer around this time. 9th and 11th for Holloway and Laverin. Let's see what they can do collectively as a team here. And Sandira Gama up to 24th position. Sunday, what a game for Sunday. I've seen his name on the left-hand side. He's 12 positions up. Samuel Burnett is up 24 positions in this race, and we're only on lap number 2. What on earth? Alex Russell is down in 33rd position. 25 position drop from the race number 1 winner. What on earth happened to Alex Russell? We have got so much content that we've got to cover over here. There has been a lot of action. Jimmy Carroll is down 35 positions. He's out of this race. What has happened to our 2 race winners at the start of this race?
No clue as to what just happened, but hopefully we can get some replays that can clue us into some of it. It's kind of unusual to hear such usually reputations at the front, drivers just be taken out of a race or just be at the back, even if for a minute.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happened. Yeah, this is, as we have another car off, this is, here's Russell. So this is what happened to him. This is coming through Repsol, it looks like, possibly. I can't exactly make it out, or it could be coming into turn. Yeah, it is Repsol. And there's already contact. There's Davis who's gone off on the left. Russell just goes off onto the grass. Onto the gravel trap. Does he rejoin and possibly experience a bit more contact? That wasn't bad from Russell. Definitely not something to put you 20 positions down. So I don't know what's happened yet to Russell. As, I mean, the driver who literally was contesting for pole in one last race, now losing out again. And this is what we were mentioning, unfortunately. This is already down 20 from Russell. So he's obviously had contact or something that's happened beforehand, as we see him moving up positions now. But I genuinely wonder what on earth happened with all that race 1 chaos. Again, it's side by side now. And that's Gaza and Swiderski into the wall they go, coming up towards the back straight up to Kyksa. And coming out of Kempster corner, both of them into the wall. That is so unfortunate to see. And my goodness, Bechtel gets 2 positions there. Here's Aaron Sunday again, up to the top 15 he goes, just from having a consistent race. Samuel Burnett gets overtaken now. And there is just so much going on in this AM race number 2. It's changed again. Harrison's dropping. What's gone on with the second place runner? Harrison's down to 9th. He's spun out on the main straight. Troy Anderson will now move up to 11th. And my goodness, there's just too much to talk about here, Shay. We've got so much going on.
There's so much happening. A lot of guys near the back, a lot of guys spinning out within the first. We have Deanna Reen holding his own against Battaglia. And both very, very brightly colored cars.
Yeah, indeed. And my goodness, I'm just trying to wrap my head about what on earth we've just experienced in this race. I mean, like, how can we go from the top 8 just losing like losing out completely? We've literally had basically all of our top runners lose out in the start of this race, and most of them have actually just decided to pull the car in and call it quits for race number 2. I have no idea that something like this, like so drastic, can happen. And I mean, it's all to play for now for the win of this race. Parks Miller is obviously up in 5.8 seconds, but we've got Saber, Dianorine, Battaglia is in this fight, Sanchez, Mullings, and Valencia. Here's Jimmy Carroll. This is very early on in the replay for him, and this is obviously what put him 29 positions down. This is again through seat. So was he... Oh, there's the inside line. He gets spun around. He gets tapped by Battaglia. He gets tapped by another McLaren, and that's heavy backside damage on that Mercedes. Does he rejoin and get further damage? I'm trying to see. Oh, very close there with that yellow car, but oh, that entire back right tire is literally up in the air. Nothing he can do to get that car home. That's going to have to be back to the pit stops for Carroll. And, okay, that solves one mystery. We've solved one murder mystery there, Carroll, and we still don't really know about Russell. He kind of dropped off from the start side as he just went off and somehow lost all those positions. You can see he's gaining back in 22nd now. That was it, though, for Carroll. Carroll's incident makes a little bit more sense. His entire back tire was up in the air, and not much he could do there. Dianorine is on a great run, though, to score points in this podium. Here's Joe Coleman. This is the big incident that they had. We'll try to go back slightly more as he rejoins a little bit dangerously there. I'm not going to lie to you. For Coleman, we'll try and get the replay for you as we're stuck in the pit lane. Let's see. A little bit further. Unfortunately not. It looks like that's it. But from the contact we saw, one more time. Here we go. Let's see. No, there we go. We've got it this way. There we go. We've got the replay. So here's Joe Coleman alongside, what number is that on that Porsche? Is that the number 171 from what I can see? A little bit of a tap on the backside. Both of them face plant into the wall, and that's a complete spin around. And then Coleman proceeds to just join the track live, and that's what throws the Mercedes off in front of him. Thankfully, no contact, but that was a very risky move. And then he loses it again from the rear end damage, and to the pit lane he will go. And just not having a good day there. But what a... I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. What a start to this race.
It's an insane start. We have tons going on. Battaglia just spun, and we've got a lot going on in the virtual grandstands as well, with people even saying that they buy tickets to this race for sure.
Yeah, I'm seeing the virtual grandstand is absolutely loving the action here today. And Battaglia just spinning off. He's still 2 positions up, but he's lost that run up in 4th that he had with Sanchez. And he's going to have to do a lot of work in his orange and blue Mustang to try and work his way back up. Valencia's up ahead. He's going to try and stick on the backside of him. We do have the Viper yet again in the top 10 trying to make his way up. Troy Anderson is trying to clue up against Odom and Holloway. We'll have to see what he can do in that Corvette. It looks so aggressive from here even. That is a scary car. I'm not going to lie to you. Very, very scary car in the mid-pack of a bunch of red cars. Looks like a bunch of blood spill that he's caused in the Viper car, but let's see what he can do. Chasing onto the backside of Odom, now trying to go side by side through Renault, and he's not going to make his way to be able to do it now. Just up ahead though is Holloway and Laverin, so he's in a bit of a Costa and camber sandwich over here. Let's hope they don't break his Costa or his camber as he dives up on the inside now of Repsol with Kamari Odom. Will he make the position stick? Coming towards seat, Russell's made his position up on Batson. It's a bit of a flash there from Kamari Odom. Will Troy Anderson be able to hold the outside line? You can see he's looking at it from the Velocity Server Racing team. He gets forced wide though, and he's going to have to settle behind Kamari Odom. This is going to be a fight that might last us our entire 30-minute stint.
Absolutely, and just because they're not up at the front doesn't mean that there isn't action that happens for the entirety of the race. The guys at the front aren't just where everything is. These guys have to figure out a whole bunch of things on how to get past the opponents directly ahead of them, as well as not let those behind them pass them up at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, Jim, anything from your side in terms of the start of this race? I mean, I know we've been so clued up in terms of all the incidents that's happened, but
yeah, I
mean,
need
from
glasses
your side,
I need glasses to correct the cross-eyed that I've developed just trying to sort through these replays. It's insane. I mean, this is the most action. This may be the most action that I've ever seen in the first couple of laps of any race I've ever covered. I mean, this has been crazy.
Yeah, it's been very difficult to follow, and I've got to say, the virtual grandstand have got to give props to Mr. Jim Cunningham for the camera shots, because he's trying to get everything clued up. Again, Troy Anderson up on the inside line now of Kamari Odom, coming into turn number 1 of Alf, side by side now, coming up into Renault, and he's made it stick this time. And now people move, chasing onto the backside of Lewis Holloway. Into the top 9 he will go. There's some juicy points on the line there for the Velocity Server Racing Team driver. And what a great stick up he does there. Laverin is still trying to look around the sides of Odom. And for the time being, the top 5 completely settled as it seems. It's 2 seconds to 5 second gaps. Bechtel down in 19th position, chasing on the backside of Perry now. It's the Aston Martin going slightly wide there against the Porsche. Where's he going to go against the number 34? Trying to look all over the place. And side by side now, Julian Rees and Samuel Burnett as they go through Seat up towards the second sector of the track through Worth and Campsa. And this is going to be Julian Rees from Gen Racing. He's been able to fall back now, and Aaron Sunday has been holding the top 15 for the past couple of laps. Let's see, can he contest? Holloway's moved up against Battaglia for 7th. Anderson moves ahead of Battaglia. What's wrong with Battaglia? He's lost 2 positions now in the past couple of seconds. Was it double overtake? It is indeed double overtake through the hairpin. And what a great move from Anderson to move up through Kyksa. He'll now be chasing on still to Holloway, and into the top 8 he will go. Anderson showing everything he's got in that Viper Corvette, and now onto the back straight, still going with Battaglia, but he will be able to keep that spot in 8th position. Great moves there so far from the Velocity Server driver.
I tell you what, you got to watch Battaglia here. I think he had an off track. I'm gonna go back and try to put it up, but you can see he's all of a sudden he's driving real aggressive. You can tell he's aggravated with himself, and I tell you what, I would not want him right behind me right now, because he's going to end up sending it in too deep. They let him go for now, I think.
So I think, yeah, go for it.
A man on a mission is indeed a dangerous person to be in front of. You never want to be that guy who's unlucky enough to be in front of the driver that just messed up so bad that now the rest of the race is their personal mission to either get past you or get back in the race.
We've got some concern around the track there for Mr. Dianorine, who's up in 2nd. I think he's driving with his feet, because he somehow just landed a comment in our virtual grandstand, and not to show he's multitasking like that. But in any case, it's Dianorine. He's saying wait till next week to see the next livery. So there's our reference to know that next week will be yet another livery. So
that
man,
is
good luck
disgusting
to Chris.
that he could be fast enough to be running in 2nd. And even if he's using voice to text, to be able to pull that off while running those kind of lap times around this track, that's disgusting, and I hate him for that. I take away my vote just because of that. No, I love his liveries, and I'm a big livery fan. I think Anderson here has decided that Battaglia has had enough, and he's going to come back and take his position back if he can.
Yeah, indeed, he moves up Battaglia back up to 8th position, and Anderson a little bit further behind now. He's lost out to that position, but here he goes side by side again. And so he's going to reclaim that spot up onto the inside line, going into Alf corner. And looks like Battaglia's had to just forfeit that one. Klubine's got himself a black flag penalty, though, and that's through halfway mark of this race. He's going to have to serve that one, unfortunately, and that's going to drop him out of the top 15, definitely. He has Kingston Mullings, though, and I mean, I've got to say, for the 18-year-old driver, I believe he's 18 or 17, he's done an incredible job to keep himself up in 5th. 5 positions up. He's contesting for so many points here. Valencia all over the backside of him as well, trying to look over and find a spot, but Mullings is just parking that car in the middle of the track, and he's been a bit of an Alonso this season, I've got to say, Shay. He's been quite defensive.
He's been quite defensive, but it's been paying off really, really well as he holds on to this 5th position spot.
Odom, we got
an incident in the back with Odom.
Oh, the rejoin. Oh, my, that looked a little bit scary under the bridge. I can't lie to you. All I saw was a car and other cars coming towards the same car. And, that is a wrecked Porsche. The entire backside is completely loose. That camber and cast is broken. He's got to find Jesse Laverin somewhere to help him get that repaired. Unfortunately, that's a huge tap for Odom from Foxxtecca. This is on the exit of Seat. And possibly just coming out on the curb. Oh, it's actually
Anderson.
And, massive contact, and nothing Odom can do there.
Oh, my gosh.
So, sometimes when you get to these crashes, you can't really help but get mad at yourself or get mad at those around you, but it's a no-fault game. That is racing. When people crash, the race goes on.
Kingston Mullings is 14. Apologies about that one. I think I got him confused with Rain Woodside. He's 14 years old, and he's up in 5th position. I mean, again, one of the youngsters proving their worth up here, which is absolutely incredible to see.
All right,
Anderson, a little further down, yes, the replay possibly.
Yeah, let's go back and look at that whole, see if we can look at that whole incident occurring here.
Okay, so this is with, this is all the way down, coming through seat here. Was this a rear end loss from Anderson? Was it a tap from Battaglia? And it's a rear end loss from Anderson. Battaglia avoided it.
Yep.
That's the biggest part. He
did.
completely avoided it. He gets hit by Laverin behind, or Holloway. I'm not too sure which one that was. And then Odom just gets collected, unfortunately, and dropped off the side. We've got Rachel, I believe, supporting Aaron Sunday, querying something about Reese, saying he needs to stop swerving. I haven't seen that from the 10th position driver of Reese. He's up in 10th. Sunday's up to 11th position now. We'll try and have a look to see what Reese is doing up in the 358 to see if he's possibly putting a couple too many late break moves or last minute swerves to try and keep the cars at bay behind him. Regardless, Rachel, your query, it will be reviewed if it obviously gets reported for stewarding after the race. So if you feel like it's a concern, and if Aaron Sunday feels like it's been a concern, it can always be logged or reported, and the stewards can have a closer look lap by lap to see what's going on. I do see Julian Reyes is swerving slightly to try and break the slip. Swerving like that, I feel like, is definitely legal. It's just trying to break the slip. Swerving under braking, though, is definitely illegal, and that can cause incidents. But swerving on the straights, definitely legal. It's a strategy to try and break that slipstream. And as you can see, it's worked because Burnett has moved ahead of Sunday now, and he's just found the inside line. And unfortunately for Sunday, just missing out. They're trying to predict what Reese was doing, has lost out yet again. Anderson's got a black flag penalty. What's happened to Anderson after the spin? He's now again being administered with something, and here he comes in to serve that penalty.
At least he's serving the penalty. At least he's close to serve the penalty. It would suck if he was all the way on the other side of the pit and got this black flag. There's a lot happening still, a lot of people going off track. I think that there's a lot of fighting happening because of the shortened format, and everyone's just realizing how many points are on the table and how fast the time is passing.
Yeah, definitely so. Fortunate thing for Anderson.
This is insane. No, this is insane. If this is what these short format races are going to be like this for the rest of the season, oh my gosh, this is.
You know my main concern is that I'm hoping Pro can live up to this, because what we've seen so far from the past 4 rounds is that the AM actually seems to be more entertaining, which is, it's odd to say. You think the pros would be entertaining.
Daytona, but, the pros were pretty entertaining.
Yeah, true.
At Daytona.
Yeah, true. True.
But last week, certainly the AMs put on a better show. I won't necessarily say the racing was better, but the entertainment value of it was better.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like there was more action up and down the track. Obviously, a little bit more contact here or there, which is not something we hope for. And I think there's a lot less contact in our Pro division, which is why it sometimes feels a little bit more boring. But in all honesty, it is actually just more straight and pure racing, which is what we get to experience. But this is still great action, and like you say, an absolute show that gets placed on here by our AM drivers. Someone else pulled into the pit lane there. I don't know if anyone else has got a black flag penalty, but someone's pulled in for some unknown reason. I'm pretty sure the half-an-hour stint is far too short for a pit stop, as we've got lots of drivers, unfortunately, who have pulled out of this race. Joe Coleman, 38, all the way down to 43rd.
Klebine entered pit road there. I'm not sure why, but
see, Klubine is currently in the pit lane, so
yeah, I'm horrible
Klubine,
at
I'm
names.
not too sure.
That's why I'm behind the camera. I tell you, somebody we haven't talked about for a long time is Alex Russell.
Yeah, and he's coming back again to do what he always does.
Yeah, he's working his way back up there. He's up to 13th, probably going to take 12th from Rain Woodside here shortly.
Oh, Jim, you cursed him.
Little hip check
Jim, you cursed him. That's a black flag penalty.
Is it? Oh, my goodness. Welcome to the big guys commentator curse. That's why they got me behind the cameras and not talking, because I do that to people.
Oh, no. You've just given Russell a black flag. We were just talking about him fighting with Woodside. Too much on the exit there from Russell. Track limits, and that's a black flag penalty.
No, it was that hip check he had with. He had a little hip check there with. Was
that incident?
Woodside, yeah.
Incident.
That was a little.
Okay, that's contact points.
Yeah, so that was probably a 4X,
Very
and that was enough
unfortunate.
to send him over the edge. Oh, man.
Oh, wow. The racing scales yet again. 10 minutes left to go. Russell's gotten a black flag. Sandero Gama's up to 24th, 16 positions up from the backside.
You know what?
Great move up from
That's
him.
a clean livery right there.
Yeah, that's clean as well. I love the huge text on the left.
Yes, just smooth, clean, not overdone. I'm glad I get to comment on some of these liveries. I have a lot of comments every week, and I don't ever get to say them. Well, I do say them. Only you get to hear them, though. That's the difference.
Yeah, I think Jim's been bottled up. I know there's some things he can't say now on the live mic. He's killed his commentary on live racing, and he doesn't know how difficult it is to try and maintain a laugh and try and maintain an expectation on track. But fortunately now he gets to be in the limelight and he knows what it feels like. But I mean, Jim's also got loads of experience in the commentary box, so it's not like he's been thrown into deep waters. And I mean, we've got to say also, great job coming here from Shay as well.
Yes.
Just to give context there, everyone, Shay was literally given a 10-minute notice that he's doing a full commentary session. He's been joining us for the past, not even 10, maybe 5. But Shay's been joining us for the past couple of 5 rounds or so. He's from Foxxtecca and he's worked alongside Chris. And, you know, he's been giving his chip-ins here or there for the past couple of rounds, but he's been in full swing this week. And I believe, I don't know, Shay, from your side, I think you've gotten quite a good limelight moment here in terms of just purebred commentating around a track like this.
I am absolutely shaking. For those that don't know, I am new to commentary, and I may not be as skilled as Tristan or Matt, who couldn't be here to join us today, but I'm enjoying the experience and enjoying bringing the action to you guys at home.
Absolutely so. And I mean, you're doing a great job at it. Just keep it up, keep the confidence up. There's enough racing going around on track for us to always talk about, which is great stuff. Yeah, we talk about it. Samuel Burnett on the outside line now of Jesse Lavrin. A little bit too wide, though, from the Ferrari driver, and he's going to have to settle tucked in behind yet again. Sunday's still in 11th. He hasn't been able to get ahead of Reese up ahead in 10th position. And Sandiaragama loses out to Perry. Unfortunately, the top 10 are all pretty... Sorry, not top 10. The top 5 are all pretty confirmed at this stage. Parks, Miller, Dianarine, Sava, Sanchez. They're all relatively distant between each other. Burnett, great camera angle again over the shoulder from Burnett. And we got to give Jim some credit. This is one of his new camera angles that he's created. And we got to show love because it's also another great camera angle just to see. It makes you feel like you're a part of the driver as they they try and take the corner. Oh, that's a deep dive from Burnett. I don't know how well that's going to stick. And indeed, it's not going to stick. There's the contact against the side of Lavrin. I saw that coming from a couple of laps from that dive. That was just too late on the brakes there for Burnett.
Wow.
I've also noticed with this incident, this now puts Reese up in 8th, which puts him on track for his highest finish so far this season.
It's great stuff from Reese, and great stats coming as well. Reese's highest finish up in top, I think, for Sunday as well. Sunday has been fighting towards the mid-pack of the season. He's up in 9th now for the Sam race too. I'm not 100% sure. I believe Rachel in chat might be able to give us more insight in terms of his highest finishing position. She seems like a little bit of a pit crew manager for Sunday. Sure. Absolutely, but I mean, it's always great to see relatives or partners coming in and supporting their relative person in the race, which is great to see. But Sunday, Julian Reese, let's see what they can do. The two of them are back-to-back between each other. Lavrin and Burnett a little bit further behind. Bechtel on Swope. Someone we haven't looked at too much, but Bechtel is on the backside of Swope now. The colourful Aston Martin, the Skittles car. I believe I saw someone making that comment in the virtual grandstand somewhere. But Bechtel on the backside of Swope. What can he do coming into these final 6 minutes? This race has gone so fast just due to all the contact. Perry's lost out 2 positions, and he's actually losing out quite a lot. Not too sure what happened to Perry down there in 25th, but he's going to stay fixated in 25th currently. Bechtel's still up in 14th, though. Alan Ware, Salgaza a little bit further behind. Lewis gets the yellow flag penalty a little bit further. That's a slowdown he's going to have to serve as they come out the final corner now. Bechtel on the backside through New Holland. And will he have the better run on the Ferrari the next couple of corners? Outside of the curb he goes. We'll try go on board to see the slipstream again from Bechtel. And what's it going to be? Yeah, you can see it. He's gaining. He breaks to the inside line now. Hopefully not so aggressive like we saw from Burnett, but it is decently alongside, and I feel like that's a valid lunge. Bechtel up on the inside line, still trying to hold down his Swope on the outside, who will convert to the inside for the next chicane, but not enough to hold the Skittles, and he definitely got the taste of the rainbow there. Bechtel moves up to 13th, and what a great overtake from the number 28.
That was an absolutely great one there with the taste of rainbow. That was awesome. But look, those two right there, that's how you race. They gave each other room. They could have both pushed each other off the track there in those alternating turns where one of them had the inside and the other had the outside, and they didn't. They gave each other space. And that was a legit clean overtake, and that's good, high-quality racing right there from both those drivers.
That's the
So we've gone a
difference.
bit of... Yeah, go for it.
That's the difference between a driver that is just aggressive and only aiming to try to win the race as soon as it begins, and a driver that just knows that the race is not won at the beginning, as I always say, or I've said more than once, and knows how to just work their way
These
through the
two,
fight.
right?
So it's better for everyone.
I'm pretty sure these two aren't done yet.
No, definitely not. Burnett and Laveran are going to be fighting for the next couple
Well,
of positions.
I'm
But
pretty sure there's some animosity there from that incident earlier on the sweep up the inside there and then getting pinched off. So I think we're going to see these two go hot and heavy the rest of this race.
yeah, absolutely. But we've gotten a bit of context on the OHND racing team from Rachel. Thank you again in the virtual grandstand. So Rachel is Aaron Sunday's wife, which was my prediction, but unfortunately you can't assume things. So thank you so much for clearing that up. And also the crew manager for OHND. She's the founder of OHND, which, funny enough, was founded in GTA 5. How incredible is that? 175 members worldwide in OHND racing, everything to do with racing, which is absolutely incredible to see such a huge standing. And Aaron Sunday has been proving his worth here up in 9th position. I've got to say, he's done a great job in today's racing. The past couple of rounds, I feel like he's had a bit of a challenge, but he's really started to extend his wings here in the Mercedes up in 9th position. Laveran and Burnett, here we go, Jim. You just mentioned it. They're going side by side up into Worth now. He's got the inside line for the Ferrari, and he's going to make it work. Laveran's missing a bumper on the front, and a little bit too much. He's got to watch out there, Burnett. He's going to get himself a penalty if he's not too careful on those track limits.
Yeah, in fact, the off-track count is not very accurate on our scoring system, but I'm going to turn it on just to, it kind of gives me a clue who might be close, and I wanted to see how close they were. Both of them should be very close, actually. So
Yeah,
at
definitely so.
any point in time, something between these two could cause a black flag, because according to
Yeah. Oh, Holloway's down.
Yeah,
Holloway's dropping off.
there's Holloway right
Oh, he's
there.
side racing. He's off on the grass. Oh, he's lost his teammate as well. Unfortunately, he's lost a couple of positions. There he loses Woodside as well. No, sorry, that wasn't Woodside. That was the back marker. Here comes Woodside, though. He's now on the backside, and there he is in the Ferrari. And Holloway's lost out all the gap he's developed. And here comes the livery we haven't gotten to see today. But if you're an avid gamer, you'll know it from Counter-Strike. One of the coolest gun skins you can rock, and he's put it on a Porsche. What a guy! I mean, come on. From I know I mention it every week, but I mean, someone in the virtual grandstand is going to come from like a CS major, and they're going to be like, "Oh, what a livery!" You know, coming from Paul over there, and he continues to rock it around track as he just tries to keep it nice and clean for the remainder of this race. Which I mean, quite frankly, and there we go, Jim. Black flag, Burnett.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I knew it was coming. I mean, that's why I put it on. There was too many incidents there, and that's not surprising to me at all. And don't be shocked if Laveran gets one as well. He's going to be pretty close on incident points also. So, like I said, the software is not exactly accurate, so we don't display it because it messes up the count, but it at least kind of gives us a heads up as commentators to kind of give you a clue that something could be coming like that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie
so.
to you. This is as many off tracks as I've ever seen on any track ever.
Yeah, we've had an eventful night yet tonight. And I mean, Shay, I'm not going to lie to you, you've had quite a good launch in terms of commentating. You've gotten a race where there's literally...
no.
and there's something more to talk about. Troy Anderson. Oh, man, what on earth is going on? Oh, Russell's got another black flag.
No,
Russell
he doesn't.
Has got the
Oh,
second
my
black
God.
flag. My goodness.
Well, they pile
on
up pretty
earth?
quick. It's only about 5 incident points after you get one till you get the next one, you know, so it's, yeah. What we got? Oh, we should be practically on the last lap here, guys.
No, we're on the last one.
This time flies by with this crazy action. What an insane race.
There's literally so much going on that I haven't been able to just keep my eyes on.
No, I
one
tell you
thing.
what, to be honest with you, you couldn't. We're jokingly saying, but this is as hard as you could possibly get to break into commentary, to try to do play-by-play commentary on, because there is so much going on everywhere. We're bouncing around, looking at this and looking at that, and believe me, I feel your pain. I've been there for sure.
Yeah, it's great to always have something to talk about, but when there's too much to talk about, it's like suffering from success. It's just you can't get everything down, unfortunately. And Talking about getting everything down, Parks Miller, checkered flag in P number 1. Dean Areen, after a great run, will take second. And Saba, I believe, takes his highest finish this season so far in third position. And he comes across the checkered flag, 0 positions gained. What a consistent streak here.
Nice.
After an eventful race for most, Saba sits stationed in third, flashing those lights, and you get to flash those lights, my man. You've done a great job. Sanchez, 4th position. Valencia in 5th, with Mullings down in 6th, and Reese not able to be broken by Sunday in 8th position. But overall, great racing going on. Ramirez, Kalvach gets a black flag on the final lap, down in 20 seconds. That's going to be a 40-second penalty. Someone's off again. That's Odom, I believe, who's already quite down after the incident he's at today. Sunday, looking to claim a name, one more, just not enough, and he'll come across the checkered flag in 8th.
Oh, my goodness.
Reese and Sunday both getting their highest finishes this season. Congrats to them. As we come around to see the rest of the guys hit the finish line, there goes Troy Anderson. Nice inside line. It looks like there's a couple people going off as they come towards that straight right before turn 1.
Yeah, there's a couple of them who are losing the traction points just coming onto New Holland. But, man, what a race this has been. This is probably some of the best GT3 action I've seen. Not best racing. You can't technically classify incidents as racing, but the action has been absolutely immense. Yeah, Kalvach, no, don't come in, Kalvach. Oh, okay. And no, he didn't. I think he heard what I said and he decided to slam it into the pit wall. But he's still going to come into the pit stop. And unfortunately, that's not going to help him because that black flag penalty doesn't get served at the end of the race. It just gets added. And my goodness, that's going to be a good old meatball next to his name after the entire front end gets left at the entrance. Very unfortunate there for Kalvach as he comes across the checkered flag. The black flag still next to his name.
Wow.
And that is officially the racing over for the AM class. 2 solid races here, 2 different race winners, and what an eventful night it's been for the AM class.
All right, here's your results.
Here comes your results, with first being Caden Parks Miller, followed by Mayor Dion Areen in 2nd, Andre Saba in 3rd, Clayton Sanchez in 4th, followed by Pio Alejandro Valencia in 5th, Kingston Mullings in 6th, followed by Julian Reese in 7th, Aaron Sunday in 8th, Jesse Laverin in 9th, Lewis Holloway in 10th, followed by Rain Woodside in 11th, Richard Swiderski in 12th, and Benjamin Bechtel in 13th. Tristan, I'll let you handle 14 and onward.
Sweet, sweet. Sol Gaza 14th, Alan Ware 15th. Troy Anderson, not a great race here today for race number 2 down in 16th. Samuel Burnett 17th from Jacob Swope. Zachary Wood down in 19th. Shelton Lewis 20th with Uven Sandiragama in 21st. Alex Russell, again, unfortunately proving the Saturday man, not having the greatest of races in number 2. Edwin Ramirez takes 23rd. Alex Kalvach 24th to Jacob Perry 25th. Dayton Harrison in 26th, followed by Zachary Battaglia in 27th position. Jimmy Carroll, 28th, followed by Alexis Barrington. Thomas Natali in 30th. 31st, Kamari Odom. Paul Collishaw, 32nd. And Kristen Montgomery down in 33rd. Ethan Harfight, 34th. Ken Majori takes 35th. And Justin Klubine, all of them not having the greatest of races yet today. 36th. Evan Davis, 37th. Joe Coleman, after the huge incident on lap number 1, down to 38th, not finishing this race off. Landon Batson, having a rather eventful and not the most successful day. And I did see someone, one of the Batsons in the virtual grandstand, just telling him, great race, but we've got to push harder for the next one. Jeffrey Hong, 40th. Again, very eventful race. Louis Martinez, John Smallwood, and Kenton Young rounds off your 43-car grid. Shay, quick one from your side. A quick summary from your side on the AM race before we head into our interview.
The AM race was absolute chaos. From lap 1 on both races, it seems as if everybody just was either trying to figure the track out or was just so locked in that they couldn't really catch those small things that caught a lot of them out. We had a few incidents, but overall, very good racing from those that were able to keep it going.
Absolutely so. And if you thought that action was great, wait until the Pro Series, which is coming up to you in a couple of moments. But first, we've got an interview with Chris Harris and I believe Gregory Hooverson for today's race. We'll see you after the interview as we prepare for the Pro Grid. Chat to you in a bit. Grab something to eat, and we'll see you shortly.
League, brought to you by Foxxtecca, where the fast become unforgettable. Here's your host, Chris Harris.
All right, everybody, welcome to the next episode of the League Podcast. I am your host, Chris Harris. We are here. We are back. Super excited about what's coming up today. First, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, everybody who has supported the league to get us to this point. First, Superlap, who is the official sim center of the league. They're located in Berkeley, Michigan, right outside of Detroit. And they're a sim center where pros could go in and test their skills, brush up on their skills. Amateurs could go in and learn how to race. So big shout out to Superlap. Check them out, superlap.world. Big shout out to the Roasted Record. They're a second time sponsoring us. They are a coffee shop out of Florida, Stuart, Florida, that's big on sustainability, really great coffee. They ship worldwide. So check them out at theroastedrecord.com. And also Dakins Designs. Dakins Designs, we teamed with him this year to help design some liveries for Team Foxxtecca. And we also did something really cool with him in NASCAR. So big shout out to him. If you're looking for livery designs for your digital car or your car in real life, make sure you hit up Jason at Dakins Designs. All right, also the African American Automotive Association, and of course, Foxxtecca. Today, I'm excited about this guest. He is back for our second season of the league, one of our top tier pros. I really have a good time interacting with him, engaging with him behind the scenes. He's helped me a lot with tremendous insight into just growing this. And he's our first pro that we're having here on the podcast. So without further ado, I want everybody to give a big shout out to Gregory Hovson. Let me get him in here. Greg.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Man. Welcome to the league.
Yeah, very excited to be here. As you said, I guess, yeah, an honor to be the first pro to actually have a spot here on the podcast. I know you're busy, so thank you for taking the time for me, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing watching you. You know, I'm a newcomer to the esports landscape, and just watching your battles in season one and just how you fought through and just really got to learn about strategy and honestly that there's levels to this, right? Our first year was kind of like everybody in one class. And it was truly amazing watching you battle. I mean, there's been some times where things happen and you start off in the back of the pack and all of a sudden I see you moving up 20 something spots and I'm just like, holy crap. And so it's amazing to watch the skill set that you have as a true pro in this esports world. When did you first get into, actually, you know what, before that, you're from Canada, representing Toronto. Early on, you started off in and it's kind of reverse for a lot of people, but you started outdoors in real racing, right? So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so started karting when I was just over 6 or 7 years old. Being in Toronto, of course, there was the IndyCar race down on the lakeshore every year. I have not missed around or a year in my life. I've been going as a spectator or as an engineer every year it's existed. So when the opportunity came to, see a go-kart and hop in it, I was all over it as a young kid. So yeah, I raced go-karts for, I think it was close to 9 years or so. And then, of course, money's always a thing. So sort of took a back seat in karting and then moved into the Formula 1200 series here in Canada, which is the Formula V, if more globally renowned. We just call it a different name here.
Yep.
And did that for a couple years as well. I had my full competition car racing license before I was allowed on the streets. So that's always good fun to say, car racing license before driver's license. So as a driver, I was probably, driving something every year from the age of 6 to about 17, and then went off to university. I studied physics with math and computer science minors. So I'm a very, data science, analytical background, and I was able to transition into a engineering role at Exclusive Autosport, which is a team in the Road to Indy. So I was able to get my hands on, the Formula 1600 cars, USF 2000, USF Pro 2000, and also had a couple events working on Indy Lights cars as well, which is now the Indy NXT, as more commonly known. And then COVID hit, life sort of changed. I had to make a career pivot, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I guess I sold out to the corporate world and wasn't fully into the motorsport scene as much. And then sim racing filled that void for me. So I've been on iRacing since 2021.
Man, well, listen, you got to put food on the table, right? So they ain't selling out; it's doing what you got to do, right?
Yeah,
Talk to me
exactly.
about those early years of racing. Like, how was it karting at 7? Like, were you in a certain age group, or were you
Yeah, so it's all division based, just like what we have here with the pro am and pro and all that. But it's more on an age basis when you're growing up in karting. So you start off at the proper low level of novice, and then you move up into the junior categories, and then into the senior categories. So I raced against a bunch of really big names, competed all over Canada in national championships. I also competed down in Florida during March break and whatnot. So
Yeah.
got to compete against guys like Kyle Kirkwood and a bunch of IndyCar stars that you guys know today. I competed against Lance Stroll and I are the same age. We participated in Canadian championships versus each other quite a few times as well. So I realized at a young age what the sport looks like. I understood at a young age how the business works as well, and you know, uh, a small father and son team from Toronto couldn't totally compete against the billionaires of the world. So I realized at a young age I wasn't going to F1, but I always knew there was going to be some place in motorsports for me for my life. So
Was this something you always wanted to do, or was this something like your dad pushed you into and you loved it? Like, how did that spark?
I think when I was 3, my dad got me the Radio Flyer pedal go kart. And I guess I terrorized the neighborhood too much, and we were like, okay, let's put him on a track now, so he's not in the middle of the street as a 4-year-old going
Yeah.
as fast as he can, right? So racing's always been in my blood. I've loved it since day one. As I said, Toronto Indy in a stroller. I've always been a part of it. I've always loved it. It's definitely not somebody pushing me behind, and I don't want to do this. No, this is what I live for. The adrenaline, the 1% payback you get from winning a race 1% of the time versus the 99% struggle is still 100% worth it to me.
That's it.
Those moments are what I live for.
How was your experience in the IndyCar circuit? I know, going through pro USF juniors to pros and Indy next, which is essentially the next step is, how was that journey?
Oh, it was very eye-opening. I was still in university at the time. I moved away. I lived in Montreal for a while. It was just where the shop was. So I got my hands dirty with sort of the other side of the coin because I was a driver the whole way up until basically the money was done.
Yeah.
So I then had to figure out a way to still be involved with motorsports, but not have to, hemorrhage money. So yeah, it was awesome to be a part of that whole grid. There's nothing better than I know it sounds crazy, but waking up at 4 a.m., being at the track at 5, and then you get to see the sunrise while you're on pit lane. There's really nothing cooler than that, in my opinion.
No, I think people don't realize, like, there's so many different barriers in motorsports, but I think people don't realize the actual expense that it is. And the higher you get, the way more expensive it is. And just the struggle for anybody to just maintain that lifestyle is hard because you're essentially, unless you're coming from a well-to-do family that just has money to burn, like, you got to find somebody to help you fund this dream.
Yeah, no, I go by the statement that motorsports is the quickest way to turn a billionaire into a millionaire. So it's just what it is. If you know the business and you get it, it'll all check out. So yeah, I'm grateful that I'm now on the other side where I can actually make some money from motorsports now, rather
Yeah.
than have to fund my way through everything.
No, absolutely. So it was when you were in karting younger, did you go down to, so it's interesting. I used to be a general manager of Palm Beach International Raceway. And
I
then my
love
friends
PBIR.
there,
I
yeah,
have
they
been
had
there many a times.
the winter the Rock Cup in the
Yeah,
winter over there.
yeah.
Man, so me, my background was, it was always drag racing, but I never really got to see karting until I remember the first event there, and I see, like, I'm just thinking, oh, it's going to be a karting, like people pulling in with their small trailers, and you just see these $1 million motorhomes pull up, and I was just, and then it's like oh, there goes Juan Pablo Montoya. And it's just like, wait a minute, I didn't realize this world was like this. It was insane. And then it made me realize, like, even in that space, you have to have money to compete. It's just expensive no matter how you spin it.
Exactly. Yeah. And no, I've been to Palm Beach many a times, ran tests there in the lights cars as well. Back at the time when I was working them, they were called lights. So forgive me if I don't use
No,
the correct
that
term.
wasn't too long ago when it was
Yeah,
called
right.
lights. Yeah.
So, but no, I've been there many times. Yeah, no, I raced in the Rotax side of things instead of the
Yep.
rock side of things. So I was purely Rotax challenge stuff
Gotcha.
when I was karting.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's a crazy world. It's way smaller than you think.
Mhm.
People, just like you said, you know, I used to work at PBIR. I'm like, well, I've spent hundreds of hours there, and how did we even know, right?
Yeah,
So it
absolutely.
all comes full circle. I'm seeing this very much in the sim racing space as well. There's kids that I used to grow up with who are now, you know, finally transitioning out of the real world stuff just due to budgets, and they're hopping in the sim and giving a crack at it as well. So it's a very tight knit community.
So when did the sim world, like, how did you get into it?
So as I mentioned earlier, it was, you know, COVID. I made a career change. I went back to school as well, finished my degree, got a post-grad certificate in big data. So I went the data engineering route of things. Had a girlfriend at the time. Life basically got flipped upside down when that didn't go too well.
Life be
And
life and
life is life, right? So, you know, I needed something at that time, and I've always wanted to do iRacing. I knew all about it when I was karting growing up. I knew it was a thing, but you know, the hardware, the complexity of everything, the amount of down payment, etc. At that time when I was younger karting, it didn't make sense. But now, you know, being a bit older, having a job and my own big boy money, it was, you know, it was time to do this, and it really filled a void personally, for my mental health, as well as keeping me, you know, sharp as a driver, and really get that competitive edge, you know, scratched for me. So that's sort of how I started sim racing. Really, it was just, you know, life got flipped upside down. I've always been racing, and it was just a perfect segue, really.
Was it a hard transition? Because typically you hear of the transition now, people going from esports like sim racing to IRL, but timing wise, a lot of you, and you're 27 years old, so I'm not calling you older, but a lot of you guys who've been in the game for a while, it's actually reversed, right? You started outdoors first, and
Yep.
then now you're into the sim space. Was it a hard transition?
Um, Short answer, no. Long answer, yes. Short answer is no. I was fine. I got into the sim, and it took a little bit to get over the fact I didn't have the G forces and you know, the feel of the seat with the car moving around. But I kind of developed how the wheel feels and all that relatively quickly. But then at the same time, it's kind of tough in the sim racing space when you just join iRacing in the beginning. You kind of just you turn into just a gamer. You know, you log in and you play, and I'm done with this for the night, and you leave. So it was only until I actually saw the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Canada on Twitch in I guess it would have been March 2022. I sort of saw that that was, you know, a competition outside of what the core, you know, game of playing iRacing was. And I looked at it, I'm like, you know what, I want to do that. I want to do that next year. So I sort of worked hard over a year's time between, I guess, all of 2022, and then I was in that championship in 2023. So that sort of was sort of my launch pad into the sim and competing at a high level. Because being where I came from, I was competing at the highest level I could. And I didn't want to not do that in the sim as well. I understand people enjoy having fun and, you know, lapping, and, you know, they bring a bunch of buddies over, sit on the couch and compete. But personally, me, I want to compete against the best, race the hardest, and have the most things on the line. That's really what I guess motivates me to, you know, come down here every night after work and put some time in, put some effort, and really, you know, perfect my craft.
So it's in.
And we are officially back to live racing with our pro class coming to you now at Barcelona. Thank you so much for holding us for that break and watching the interview with Chris and Greg Hooverson. A big thing to remember with all of our interviews that we've had so far this season is you can find all of the interviews, including tonight's one, on the Foxxtecca YouTube channel in case you want to watch the full thing. We unfortunately don't get to showcase the full interview just due to the amount of time we've got before the start of the next race. So if you are wanting to watch the next one, that is the place to find it. Another big mention before we head into the depths of the pro race is our amazing sponsors here at Foxxtecca. We've got the big headline of the African American Automotive Association headed up by Chris Harris himself, and that's just bringing all the diverse opportunities to all the young sim racers possibly trying to branch into real-life motorsports. And obviously all the liveries you've seen out on track, not all of them will be designed purely by this provider, but some will be personal. But Dakins Designs is also here to provide all of some of the cool designs out on track. And so if you are looking for a neat iRacing livery, head over to Dakins Designs, and they've got you covered. Super Lap is here as well, and providing all the good stuff over there. And I believe Roasted Records as well, joining us for this season. So great stuff to have all the sponsors up on board. And thank you so much to all of them again for showing their partnership with Foxxtecca. And it's just what makes Foxxtecca what it is, and what allows us to keep on going for yet another season, because I can't lie to you, we better see a season 3 of Foxxtecca with all the action we get here.
I agree. We've seen so much within these first few races, and especially we've seen a ton in the AM races leading up to this. And I've always been excited for the pro races. Every single round, these guys always know what to do when it comes down to putting on some hardcore, good to watch racing. And I don't think that's going to be any different this time around.
No, definitely not. As we've now seen the domination yet again, the Corvette will be quite experienced at this track. It's a track that suits the car, and that's Marley Joff. Our winner of last week is up into P number 1. And something to note, Shay and Jim, look at the timings board from 1st to 25th. It is a total of 2 seconds that splits the entire grid from 1st to 25th, which is absolutely insane. In terms of lap times, Ballast Palace sits just behind Marley Joff with about a 0.03 difference of a lap time over there from Pala, and Hooverson a little bit further down in 3rd position. Dragotta is currently sitting up in 4th. Also one of the young guns, Zurich in 5th. Grabowski is currently sits in 6th. Benicia, I believe that's one of the new driver. I'm not too sure I've seen his name yet before. He currently sits in 8th position. Nikolai Peterson on a fast lap currently, coming through the final sector now. He's purple through sector number 2. What's it going to be for Nikolai Peterson? Is he going to come up towards the top? Is he going to remain dormant after his final sector? On board though, what can he do? This is going to be a big jump for Peterson. Currently off the entire grid with no lap time set. It isn't a faster sector 2. It's still a faster sector 1 and a faster sector 2. Apologies. And indeed, it is going to be a jump all the way to the top. He goes 1/10 faster than Ballast Pala.
Oh my goodness, this is fixing to heat up front up here. Oh, we don't have much time left. Wow, he might have just jumped to the pole. He might have just taken the pole on with that lap. That's crazy right there. That's a surprise to me. I don't recall Peterson being that fast. Wow.
Absolutely closed the door on everyone else in qualifications. Is actually really impressive.
Yeah,
I know we were originally looking at that 140 to 142 gap, but the 139 just blows it right out the water with the top 3.
Yeah, top 3 are on a completely different ball game over here. And Joff, obviously untouchable last round at Suzuka. He literally led that race with 0 contention. He's now going to have a different challenge on his hands because he sits 3rd position in the sandwich of Pala and Hooverson. Peterson, what a great lap from him. And guys, it's not over. Faster sector 1 from Peterson on this next flyer of a lap. He's probably not going to finish the lap, unfortunately, as once we hit the 10 minutes, it's not like a normal qualifying session where it runs until every single car comes across the checkered line, and unfortunately does cut exactly at the 10-minute mark. And you'll see it now. Castro's going to go into an invisible void, and there he goes. Goodbye, Castro, as we head to the end of our qualifying. But Peterson, regardless of not finishing that lap, sits up in P1 with the fastest lap time, 1/10 faster than the likes of Ballast Pala and Marley Joff. And that is officially the standings for pro qualifying. And we'll head to the starting grid procedure for race number 1. Nikolai Peterson sets up in 1st, followed by Ballast Pala from the SDK esports team. Molly Joff, Effect Simulation, sits in 3rd. Greg Hooverson down in 4th. Leo Dragotta will take 5th position. Andre Castro takes 6th, with Sabio Panicia in 7th. Aaron Zurich takes 8th with Dennis Grabowski, who took 3rd last week at Suzuka. Now down in 9th, Guilherme Andre will take 10th. Kevin Rold takes 11th, with Gabriel Ivanov in 12th position.
Over in 13th, we have Michael Dell, followed by Cadence Presley. Tyler Carr in 15th, followed by Ty Dunnett. Paul Nye in 17th. Tyler King in 18th. Joe Manzoli in 19th, followed by Lone Andre Murison, in 20th. 21st being Eric Halsband. 22nd being Elliot Cott, followed by Alessandro Torchio in 23rd, and Cameron Brown in 24th.
And Cameron Brown, teammate to Molly Joff, he's quite a bit further off though from his teammate, unfortunately. Zohair Ahmad takes 21st with Kyle Robertson in 26th position. 27th for Lucas Souza, 28th for Miles Brown, followed by Chris Waits from Roasted Records down in 29th. Andrew Herschel, 30th position from the Superlap team. 31st, Gabriel Jones, and 32nd from Zane Khan, who has not had a great qualifying session. We usually see Zane Khan quite high up. But talking about grid difference, 10 cars difference between Am and Pro. We are 10 cars less here, and 32 cars on the grid. It's still a huge grid here for our Pro class, but a lot less than what we saw in the Am class. The driver's still waiting on that grid, ready to go. Shay will be taking you off yet again for the starting order, but we still have some time left before the formation lap is over.
Well, as we wait here for the pace car to set off, what are we expecting to see from this Pro race? I know that we saw a ton of action in the Pro Am race. What do we expect to see here this time around?
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one. And obviously, we've got the fights up in front. We've got Joff, who obviously took the win last week. Grabowski taking a third. Sorry, I thought Peterson was going to make contact with our Durasalt little Bird Maylander up in front there, but thankfully he doesn't, and he stays behind him. But we obviously had Marley Joff, and who finished pole. Ballas Pala finished second last week, and Dennis Grabowski finished off in third position. So we got to watch out for the drivers who finished off strong last week. We didn't get to see the points now for Pro, unfortunately. I think we ran out of time for that one. But we'll try and possibly look at it at a later stage. But for the time being, it is going to be Peterson up in front, coming across New Holland. We'll have to see how it goes.
Indeed, and as we look at our starting lineup, I see, you mentioned it already, our first three are some of the fastest drivers that we've seen all this entire series, and as the green sets off, we get to see them fight for the first few corners. You can already tell that you have this big long straight here, and the first corner is going to be where a lot of people get their best time. And the green is off. Race begins. We have Peterson leading the front with Ballas Pala in the back. Ballas Pala being usually quite aggressive. I wonder if this first lap is going to breed any of that aggression. Everyone piling into the first turn, and very clean. We go into the first corner. We see a lot of 2 wide, 3 wide, but everyone keeping it together.
Oh, Greg Hooverson has made a massive jump up on the inside line there. That's one position up for himself. Marley Joff, someone's off. There's someone who's definitely gone off for the top pack there. Ballas Pala, 28 positions down. What on earth has happened to Ballas Pala? Was this a disconnect issue, or did he lose control coming into that sector? I did not see him drop off, but he's completely lost out because it's Nikolai Peterson to Marley Joff to Greg Hooverson. More contact in the background there. There's a spinner in the middle of the pack that looks like Morot possibly. It looks like the other Seshe driver, and there is so much action already in the middle of this fight.
The race has just begun, and already some of my favorite drivers have found their way out of the top 10. This is insane.
Pala got run into the middle. He had an off track. There goes somebody's bumper flying across into the gravel back there.
I wonder where Pala sits though now. I see he's down in 27th. He is definitely still on the racetrack, but man, what a huge loss out for the second place finisher of last week, and he's obviously quite high up in those point standings. You'll get your live timings up on the left-hand side of your screen shortly to see where everybody lies, but currently it is Nikolai Peterson, the Swedish driver, up in front, and he currently leads against Marley Joff and Grabowski. Hooverson has managed to hold off 4th position over there, but it is looking relatively similar in terms of the finishing positions of last week. Presley has changed cars. He's moved away from the Mustang. He's moved up into the Corvette, following the lines of Joff, maybe. He's got a bit of a streak here in this car. He obviously was our driver of the day in round number 1 at Spa with that great overtake he had, but now down in 10th position. Cadence Presley has got a lot of work to do. Torcho's defending aggressively in the background there against Odell, and you can see them side by side coming down into turn number 1. This is going to be close. It's 3 wide between himself and Cameron Brown. What is going to happen in that back fight over there? And he does tuck in, it looks like. Torcho forced to tuck behind Cameron Brown. It was almost 3 wide though. Coming into Alf and through Renault, they will go. Torcho loses out 2 positions there, and he's forced off out of the track. Nothing that the Italian driver can do.
This has been absolutely an exciting start to the race. It seems so far with both Pro and Am, we've just had tons and tons going on within the first 2 laps.
talking about going on, Joff is catching Peterson for the lead of this race, and he is reducing that gap ever so slowly. But the main fight, Castro is leading the battle for 8th position currently. Apologies, it's actually Guillaume Andre leading the battle for 7th, and he's got a huge train of cars that leads behind him, all trying to compete for position. Yeah, we see Presley with Ivanov trying to make his way around, and he's beautifully covered. Aston Martin Vantage, and as they come up towards the end of the hairpin, the end of the straight, towards Lakeksa, what is it going to be for Dragotta? He's looking all over now, the white Mustang. Will he make a leap onto the inside line? Presley's having to defend against Ivanov. There's loads of gravel all over the circuit that they've got to watch out for. Tyler Carr and the likes of Dragotta down in 12th and 13th position. They're fighting now. Dragotta on the outside line is trying to make do with what he's got, but he's getting forced out a bit, almost getting pushed off by the other Mustang, but he manages to keep it out on track, and now chasing onto the backside of one of the Golden Pigeons of Rolled in 11th position. What can Dragotta do to move up into the top 10?
Only time will tell as the race just began. There's so much time to see how this plays out. Right now, it seems like everyone's still holding themselves pretty well. We've got Khan and is this Torchio having a little battle themselves.
That is.
Oh, sorry,
Mirasan. Yeah, that's Mirasan and Khan. So, fortunately, we've got some guys who are very visible and easy to identify. Livery's Torchio's got that highlighted green and black, and then Khan is coming in with his slightly yellow and black livery over here, and that's fighting with Mirazan. We've got Tim O'Dell in the virtual grandstand, I believe, related to Mike O'Dell in 14th, asking how many people do we have in here. We've got 32 drivers in today's race. We did have 43 in our AM class, but we've got 42 here. 32 in our... Oh, and there's somebody off. That's Tyler King who's been booted off, and also Cameron Brown is lost out, and they're going to try and rejoin. Dangerous rejoin, though, from the likes of Tyler King, and he's been knocked out, though. Herschel will also be pulled off the track now, and that is very... that is huge contact. They almost pull each other back onto the track, and even further content. He's driving backwards. He's got to watch out for that one to not get disqualified. But man, what an interesting turnoff into seat we got there. Loads of action between the drivers.
Oh my goodness! All right, that was crazy right there. We'll try to get a look at some of these incidents now if we can.
We've got to be mindful of the actual pro race that's going on here, because there's still a battle for 8th position of Presley holding off from Ivanov and Rolled, and Castro obviously losing out on that fight. He's completely lost out right now, and he's going to have to try and work his way back up. Presley, though, still up in 8th position. He has Cameron Brown after having that spin. He's fighting now with Nye and Jones for 21st and 23rd position, respectively. Herschel and Souza a little bit further up on the grid. They've got to watch out for this one, as Brown is hungry to try and make these positions up. He's had that off track, and he's had that spin during the incident through seat, and now he's trying to move up towards, and he does take indeed the position through Alf, but he's going defensive from behind. That's from Jones to Paul Nye. This is going almost 3 wide into Alf, and it looks like Cameron Brown will hold that into 21st. He will go. The rest of the grid looking relatively okay. We had an okay start to this race. It went a little bit sour. Oh, and there goes sour again. Jones has lost the car going into Renault, and he's down to 23rd. I believe that was self-inflicted, just losing the rear of the Mustang. And Nye moves up, and now they're just completely pacing away from him. Unfortunate there from Jones to stick in 23rd.
It is a pretty messed up mistake to have at this point in the race, but it is also still early, so I believe there's a lot of time to make up for that mistake and catch up and save some of the time.
All right, this is trying to catch some of this action here. This is back when all this stuff broke loose back here. I wanted to see that rejoin again. Oh, that was just brutal.
Yeah, it was very late rejoin, and Castro just gets completely collected there. Nothing he could have done against the golden hornball over there, fortunately from Tyler King, and a little bit of a reckless rejoin, but thankfully we don't have to make judgment of that. That's going to be down to the steward's office to make the necessary acclimatization for that one.
Elliott Court.
Is Elliott Court fighting, and just getting tapped on the back by yet another one of the Super Lap drivers. They're a little bit in the walls yet today, and Elliott Court, the DDK Racing team driver, gets pushed off track. Fortunately, no damage for his Mustang, but still not a great turn of events there for him.
And I want to go back and try to show you what happened to Ballas Pala on the first lap if I can, but we'll stick with this action here up front now.
Peterson,
the battle
on in the front. Nice and collected. Nice and collected on the insides of these turns here. doesn't seem like he's having too much trouble holding off Marley Joff in the back, although it is Joff. He has got a reputation for leading it from the front, and I completely believe that he can take that position back.
And you can just see the front end of that red and blue duo tone of Marley Joff's Corvette getting ever so closer to the backside of the Alpha 1 by a 6 car of Nikolai Peterson. And he's got to watch out because the battle is definitely scaling between these two, and it might get ever so close before he knows it. So watch out there from the likes of Marley Joff. He's really got to watch out now. We're still in replay mode is what it's showing us. I'm not too sure if we are in replay mode. Might just be a bit of a... There we go. We're back to live racing. I think it was the...
This is Pala.
This is the replay. There's Pala. So he gets tapped on the inside line there through turn number 1. And obviously turn number 1, all the cars are still cascaded together. And that's exactly how you lose over 20 positions in one corner. Very unfortunate for Ballas Pala, and he's got a long way to grind to get back to the top.
Absolutely unfortunate. Again, one of my favorite pro drivers. It sucks that he's suffered this so early in the race, but I also believe in his ability. He's shown to be an incredibly strong driver that can get to the front of the pack and defend where he needs to, so I think he can find his way back up.
He's unfortunately...
what's happened to Joff?
Pala is in the pit road right now.
Oh, and I've spoken too soon.
Yeah,
you cursed him there, Shay. Well done. You're going to learn that in the realm of commentating.
This is your favorite pro driver right here. What just happened to him that sent him to pit road.
This is coming into Kaiksa, the left-hand hairpin. What would normally be a hairpin, and I think he's just had enough. I think he probably thinks it's just not worth it in this race. He knows there's another 35-minute race where he can try and get some redemption, but I think in such a short race, he knows he's not going to be able to gain any positions that will be for worthy enough points, and decides he's rather going to take a bit of a relaxer. I don't know what's happened to Joff. There was a 2/10 gap between himself and Nikolai Peterson. It's now down to 1.5 seconds, so he's definitely made a mistake somewhere, and he's lost out quite big time. And Grabowski's caught up to him as well. Hooverson on the backside, 1.5. Unfortunately, the top 8 are all about 1 second away from each other, so not too much action there. But the train of 8th position, that Presley is leading, is a very long train indeed. From Presley to Ivanov, to Dragota, to Carr, to Roll. There is a lot of drivers involved in potentially joining further into that top 10. And there Ivanov gets a slowdown. This is possibly where it changes up. Dragota's going to catch up to him now with that slight slowdown penalty coming onto the exit of the final corner onto the main straight. And here we go. You see Dragota catching drastically. It's down to 2/10. Here you can see the front nose of the Mustang. Is it going to be enough to make a dive up on the inside? He's still got the slowdown penalty, so he hasn't done enough. And there comes Dragota diving on the inside line. He saw the penalty advantage. They are side by side though. Ivanov has now officially served his penalty, and he reclaims that spot for the negative delta by Simgear team. And what a great battle there for Ivanov to also withdraw from that penalty.
Absolutely. This is some great driving that we're seeing from these two drivers here. They're getting really close, and they're not slamming into either one, which is telling me that they're watching for each other's space and also trying to play the smart game here. They want to be fast and safe. Nobody wants to take out somebody else and ruin the race for each other.
Yeah, definitely not. It's not going to be the move for Ivanov, as he currently sits still in 9th position. Yes, Tyler Carr. He's a little bit further down in that Race 4G Sports team, and chasing onto the backside now of Dragota. And he needs to watch out for the battle in front, because if it does get sticky, he either will be involved in it or he's going to get 2 positions gained. But he does have Rolled in the backside. He's also trying to get past. Dunnett is a far way back. He's got Manzoli and Mike Odell on the backside of him. He has Leo Dragota, though, still on the backside of Ivanov, trying to find any possible opportunity to get past the 1-1-1. And Dragota's also got to watch out. Carr is getting ever so closer behind him, but I believe Carr is going to wait to see. Mirazan gets ahead of Herschel. It's actually a swap back for the two of them. I believe that was through the hairpin. It's where we normally see the switchbacks happening. Grabowski is now 1 second away from Joff, as this is unfortunately what the pro racing does. All the drivers up in front seem to distance themselves quite a bit, and the mid fights do indeed become quite apparent. Odell Motorsports driver Mike Odell, 16th position, 3 positions up. He's chasing now onto the backside of Joe Manzoli. Not Joe Manzoli, sorry. 15th position is currently hidden with the longer live timings tower. Herschel, though, 21st position. There's Mike Odell, now getting into 15th on the backside of Zen Khan. But can he hold around the outside of Alf? And we're not going to be able to know just as of yet, but he looks like he's going to be able to stick it. The number 82 orange Mercedes-Benz on the outside line. And what a great move overtake over there. I've got to say, something about Mike Odell's livery is really flashing me back to the good old 2002 Orange F1 team. I don't know if you guys have reference to that, but I'm definitely seeing it on Odell's car.
I'm not too familiar with that, but I will say that the livery itself pops really nicely, especially with the lighting being a little bit darker today on this track.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I think the Arena wouldn't glow as much in this lighting. It looks like it's a bit darker. Obviously, the session is slightly afterwards of the pro driver, of the AM drivers. So the pros get a slightly more difficult, slightly colder track where they've got to manage that tire temps a little bit better. Leo Dragado still though in 10th position. And Tyler Carr, there you can see the temps, 19 degrees. I'm not too sure what it was in the AM class. And oh, here we go, Tyler Carr on the inside of Leo Dragado. He's trying to look for it, but Dragado's holding the outside line now, and which will convert to the inside line going into the next corner. What's it going to be, though? Ivanov still trying to make his way around as they work together in unison to make this work, but not going to happen for the likes of Tyler Carr. He's going to have to remain dormant behind, and that is exactly where he sits coming into the next couple of corners. 12th position, though. Let's see. What will Tyler Carr do in 11th position? Trying to fight as much as he can behind the likes of Dragado, but Rolled is in that slipstream. We'll go on board with Tyler Carr to see how much he's gaining in this next coming. And there he goes on the outside line. Dragado holding inside again for the defensive. And these drivers have to watch out. Rolled is behind, looking for the opportunity to get past. And this is allowing Ivanov to run away with 9th position. And as they continue going, not too sure if Shay's having some audio issues there or possibly. He's currently dipped out for a bit, but Tyler Carr, 11th position, still chasing on the backside of Dragado in 10th position. Rolled, still a little bit further behind. This is currently your main battle out on track. Odell is also fighting on the backside of Manzoli. So that's Mike Odell, Manzoli, and Khan. That's the battle for 14th position, a little bit further back. Murazan's also got Brown and Herschel on the backside of him. So not too sure how that battle's going to scale as they continue to go around track. Tyler Carr still 11th position, trying to make his way around. Here's the battle here with Mike Odell fighting with Zane Khan and Joe Manzoli. We are now 15 minutes into this race. There's 10 minutes left to go past the halfway mark for race number 1. And from what we remember in the AM race is that this race does dissipate quite quickly. We don't really realize it until it's at the end leg, and it starts to catch up quite quickly. But Leo Dragado, 10th position now, chasing onto the backside. What can he do? And he's getting bumped all over the place now from Tyler Carr. And he's got to watch out, though, that he doesn't unsettle that Mustang up in front. Otherwise, the two of them could drop drastically off the grid. Yeah,
Carr's got real aggressive there. They were closing pretty strong on 9th place there of Ivanov, and all of a sudden, Carr decided to make his move, and they have lost 2 seconds basically now.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to lose to Ivanov if they don't do something about this, because this three-way fight is just going to lead to more drivers behind joining in on this three-way, and Ivanov is just going to continue to run. 2 seconds of a gap now between himself and Dragado, and it's only going to extend. But yeah, Tyler Carr now on the outside line of Renault, coming up to Repsol. He's got the outside. He's got the position made on the live timings tower, but Dragado does have the inside into the next corner, holding on the outside line. Slightly later on the brakes there for Ivanov. For Tyler Carr, trying to make his way around into the inside for the seat corner, and it looks like he might have this. Roll is looking on the outside line, but now Dragado's lost it. He does tap slightly, and it looks like he moves towards the inside line. Great move, though, from Tyler Carr on the inside of seat to move up into the top 10.
Yeah, it looks like Dragado got kind of pinned over there on the curbing, and caught a little wiggle there and had to get out of it for a second, and that allowed Carr to go ahead and finish the move there. Good move by Carr, pinning him down on that curbing like that, and not letting him get back on the track. That was a smart pass.
Yeah, smart pass indeed. Unfortunately, Rolled has to stay at bay. He wasn't able to get past Dragado just as of yet. But look behind, that 1.8 second gap from Rolled to Dunnett is no longer 1.8 seconds. It's now 6/10. And basically, they've merged with the battle for 14th of Manzoli, Khan, and Mike Odell. So now it's a battle for 10th, all the way from 10th down to 16th position, basically. But Khan and Mike Odell fighting side by side. Please don't hit each other coming onto the main straight. Thankfully, they don't. Mike Odell will lose that position, though. These two have been at it, and they've been showing great sportsmanship as well. I don't think they've made contact once between each other, but yet they've been back and forth between each other. Mike Odell 15th, then Khan 16th, and now back vice versa. And with only, I would say, only 6 or 7 minutes left to go of this race, they do have to watch out for who's going to finish ahead in this battle.
Yeah, and it's. Oh, sorry. You're back. I see.
Yeah, I've been suffering a lot of like audio issues with my mic tonight, so I apologize 10,000 times. I don't think that they're quite over, but I am going to try to keep up as best as I can.
Well, go ahead. I was going to say this. It's time to start looking at this battle here. We got this battle for 10th and 11th, but the real battle here is for 8th place, because that's going to be the pole position for the next race coming up. So some of these guys have, they got 6 or so 7 minutes to go to try to move themselves up into that, try to get that 8th position and get the pole for the next race.
Absolutely. And this is where we're going to be seeing a lot of those closer battles, and this is also possibly where we're going to be seeing some of the drivers just getting a little bit more aggressive and trying to really push for those passes and make those moves before they run out of time. Because it's just as Tristan said, the time in this format of race flies by. You've got to make your moves fast, and you have to be incredibly deliberate, otherwise the race is over right before you want to make your move.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to plan it correctly, and especially when you're trying to chase onto the backside of someone, you might be trying to be conservative, trying to keep it towards the end of the race. But remember, this isn't a 1 hour race. This is just about 6 minutes left to go. And so if you are wanting to make that dive, for example, Marley Joff from Effect Simulations, if you are wanting to make that dive and chase onto P number 1, well, you've only got 6 minutes left to do it. And 6 minutes in this perspective equates to about 3 laps left of racing that Joff has got to try and chase onto the backside of Peterson. He is within a second. Fortunately, there's no Formula 1 DRS here. We can see the boards all over the track, but they won't be applying to the GT3s here. But Molly Joff, he really does have to do something here if he wants to get ahead of Peterson by the end of this race.
Indeed, although I think this is going to point to another interesting statistic. If Peterson does manage to hold first place till the end of this race, this is going to be maybe the 4th straight time, if I'm correct, that we're seeing Mercedes dominate, where we think mid-engine cars usually would be the ones on top.
Yeah, indeed. It wouldn't be 4 in a row. We did see Molly Joff take the complete win last week at Suzuka. But 4th time indeed. They dominated at Spa. They dominated at, let me quickly pull up our calendar again alongside me over here. They did well in Daytona. Daytona was definitely front engine driven. Silverstone, a bit of a mix between the front engines and the mid pack. The front engine and the mid engines, but I think the Merc still came out on top. And then obviously Suzuka was Joff. And now we're at Barcelona. Hopefully Matthew's here next week for Donington Park. I know how much he's been talking about wanting to be at Donington. And that's his home circuit, so let's hope he can join us next week. Kevin Roldo in 12th position, still chasing onto the backside of Dragota. 5 minutes left of racing, though. Molly Joff has dropped that gap now to 6/10 from 9/10, and he is actually getting closer and closer. Keep your eye peeled on that top left of the live timings tower, because if Molly Joff does get within attacking distance, I have a feeling he's going to try and take it by the end of this race.
Absolutely. And it's going to be hard to tell, too, considering both Joff and Peterson are both reputationally incredibly good drivers in this series.
Yeah, let's see what they can do, Joff. A little bit of blipping coming over there. That little bit of confusing one on the left-hand side. It looked like everything shifted, but back to what we're actually looking at is that Joff is still just closing in now on Peterson. And he does have to watch out if he wants to finish this race in pole, because Joff, we know him, he's a very good driver. He has still the main battle, Dragota, down in 11th position. He's got such a long train behind him. And looks like Dunnett has joined in. Not too sure where Souza is. There he's down in 17th, same livery that he's rocking. But Dragota is down there. There's Souza. I thought I saw his livery in that fight, but I believe it's Dunnett who's running the same livery as Souza. I think they might be running the same team this time around. Indeed it is. That looks like the same livery. That's the Aerokinetics team, and again, what a great livery. Super clean, super streamlined, and chasing onto the backside of Rold. Manzoli's also there. Manzoli, another clean livery. Not too sure we spoke about Jim, but it was someone who had the exact same livery in the first race. They're not rocking the same one in the Pro Series, and Joe Manzoli, they're in the No Content Racing team, making his way around circuit in 14th.
Yeah, that's a really clean livery. I like that. It's it's not overdone. It's not too much. Yeah, really good looking livery. This battle back here for 19th, 20th, 21st. This has been hot and heavy here for 5 or 6 laps now at least. Definitely, he battles all up and down this field.
Let's see if it can convert though. Torchio to Murazan to Brown to Herschel. And with only about 3 minutes left of racing, someone's going to make a decision soon. Nirozan is on the backside of Torcho. You can see it just up ahead there. Is that a dive almost from Herschel? Indeed it is. But Cameron Brown closes the door before he can make any further progression. Now up towards Renault they will go. He has back up towards Leo Dragado, who's fighting with Rold. Now getting ahead through Repsol, but Dragado will have the inside line going into the seat corner. Will it be enough, though, to keep the lead? And unfortunately not. It looks like Kevin Rold's going to be able to hold this along the outside. Never mind, what a conversion from Dragado, and he pushes him wide without contact. Great little elbow-to-elbow racing there, and Dragado reclaims his 11th position fight there. Joff has again dropped off 1.5 seconds. I don't know what's going on with Joff. He gets close and then he drops off, and it looks like he's not going to be able to contest in these last 2 minutes of racing. Dragado still 11th position. Where does Peterson currently sit out on track? 2 minutes left to go. We're about to breach the standard lap time around here. And depending on where Peterson is out on circuit, we can see it there. He's just coming across the checkered flag now. There is a 1 minute and 40 seconds left. So this is white flag. Last lap to go. Nikolai Peterson will remain up in first position. Let's see what he can do. If he's fast enough, he would have been able to make it another lap. But I think he's just made it to where the end of the session timer will literally activate as he comes across the line. So Panici up in 6th, and Presley is currently that driver who will convert for first. But like Jim mentioned, here comes the danger zone for Presley. This is either first position in the second race or 9th position, depending on where he fights here with Ivanov. He's got to play his cards right here, or else he might miss out on a huge opportunity in race number 2.
Yeah, ultimately this gets really exciting at this part of the race, and this is, it's a good battle and everything, but the fact that we've got the inverted field and this all of a sudden becomes a battle for the pole, as you see Ivanov making an inside move there on him.
Ivanov now up onto the outside line for the next corner, but he switches to the inside. What great racing from Ivanov. And Presley's not going to be happy about this one. That's from first position to 9th in the second race that would have been converted to. And he's going to do everything he can to try and get ahead again on the last second. Here it comes. It's the late minute dive on the inside of Worth. And he's going to go bumper to bumper there. It's a little bit shoulder contact with Gabriel Ivanov. But he does get the black flag for Torchio down in 22nd. And Ivanov moves back up at the 9th position. Not too sure how happy Ivanov's going to be with that one. A little bit of touching there between the two. And if Presley can hold this for the next couple of seconds, where is Peterson? He's going to send it side by side. My goodness, where is Peterson? Is this going to be another lap? I think this might just be that. No, it's checkered flag. He just makes it to the checkered flag on the 25-minute marker. Peterson to Joff, to Grabowski, to Hooverson. But he has the main fight, Presley versus Ivanov, coming through New Holland now. Who's going to be able to keep it? It looks like it's going to be Presley, but on the backside is Gabriel Ivanov. He tries to go along the outside line. He slows himself down far too much, and Presley gains that first position flip for race number 2.
Yeah, there's I guarantee you there's some beef right there. That was I mean, it was good aggressive racing. I loved it. In fact, I wish I could. Let me see if I can go back and find that little bump and move there. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, a little bit of action there to try and keep 8th, but I do understand it from Presley. I mean, it's a huge difference between 8th and 1st. Here's that replay, though, that Jim was talking about, Cadence Presley. So this was a huge dive up on the inside of Worth. And I would say it was a relatively good fight. I mean, they gave each other space. It was just on the exit here where Presley kind of came a little bit too wide.
I don't know.
And gave a...
I'm all for
it's
that.
Just a bit of a race.
Yeah, I'm all. That's okay. I mean, he didn't bust him off the track. He did bump him a little bit, but he didn't just blast him or anything like that. So, wow. Okay.
Yeah. To be fair, Ivanov could have done it into the next corner, but he played it slightly safer. So that's where we sit. But that's race number 1 done. We've got a 3-minute warm up, and the points unfortunately didn't. We won't go through points. For the time being. Yeah, you mentioned that in the wrong order, but it's fine. We continue going around. And but yeah, for the time being, lots up to grab for this race number 2. I'm not too sure if Shay's still here. He's been a bit quiet, but great race for race number 1. Seems like Shay's not here, unfortunately.
There he is.
I'm definitely here. It's just like I said, I'm dealing with some
if you need to work on him here during this warm-up session, that's a good time to go tinker with him. So that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and see if I can fix some of these issues here.
Yeah, let's hope we can get Shay back up and running by the start of the next race. I'm trying to look to see if we can find our document for the current points, but Fortunately, I haven't been too clued up with that as of yet. Try and find it and see if we can bring up the points for round number 2. Let's see. We'll try and have a look. That's highlights. But for the time being, not too important nonetheless. We've still got a bit of a warm-up session before we go ahead with race number 2, just to give it a little bit of time. The drivers are currently just relaxing in pit lane, it seems. No one coming out to complete any warm-up laps. And that's how it's going to be for the time being. So a good another 2 minutes or so. There's Mr. Odell. He comes out on track to get a couple of warm-up laps in. Headlights are on. It's starting to get dark here around Barcelona. And so the drivers will have to watch out for that one as they try and progress around the circuit. But half an hour left here of today's racing. We've had a great run of events for the AM. We've got a great first race for the pros. And obviously one left now for the pros. The big 30-minute feature race. The top 8 completely reversed. Presley will be starting in that pole position, which is going to be an interesting thing to see. We see Odell returning to the pit lane. Never mind, there was a bit of a blip, and he's got off just before seat, almost into the wall, identical to where Sunday met the wall, as they continue going around the track now. But about 40 seconds or so left before we start our official race session. Again, he blips off. Not too sure if that's just a net issue. Indeed, it is. There he comes back for Mr. Odell going around track. So
I noticed somebody in the virtual gallery there said spec maps are an art itself, and that is so true. If you make liveries, I like to design liveries and stuff, and I'm not going to lie to you, spec maps are they are indeed an art. There's no doubt about that. It's for those of you that don't know, the spec mapping is how you make the chrome accents and how you make things matte finish or shiny or things like that, how you can make the stickers shine different than the paint and things like that. So it's a huge part of what makes these liveries what they are, and somebody who has a grasp on the spec mapping really has a leg up in the livery making business for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the good old days. I used to do it a lot for ACC, but that's kind of died out now in the local scene of South Africa. But iRacing also similar designing. Some people choose Blender, the good old 3D design. I don't know. I'm kind of old school, Jim. You might flame me for this, but I like a good old 2D design, a good old Photoshop on a flat canvas. That was always my best way of designing, and then just previewing the car in like iRacing or something. But some people have fought me on that. They say if you can't do Blender, that's weird. But anyways, Cadence Presley up in first for the start of this race, and Gulam Andre will start second. Savio Panicia will start third. Aaron Zurich takes fourth with Gregory Hooverson in fifth position. Dennis Grabowski takes sixth. Marley Jock seventh, and Nikolai Peterson will be behind him this time in eighth position. Then after the top 8 flip, Gabriel Ivanov down ninth, followed by Tyler Carr, Leo Dragota in 11th, followed by Kevin Rold in 12th. 13th position onwards from the 7th row. Ty Dunnett in 13th. Joe Manzoli takes 14th. Mike Odell to Zane Khan, followed by Lucas Souza in 17th position. Lowen Andre Mirazan down in 18th position, followed by Cameron Brown 19th. Andrew Herschel will take 20th. Paul Nye 21st, with Zoe Ahmad down in 22nd, and Eric Carlsband in 23rd position. Gabriel Jones for Potato Lad in 24th. 25th will be the likes of Miles Brown from Driver Trainer Motorsport with Kyle Robertson in 26th. Alessandro Torcho, the 07 racing driver, down in 27th, with Tyler King in 28th. Elliot Court will take 29th. Ballas Pala starts 30th this race after DNFing in the previous race. Chris Waite starts 31st. And Andre Castro, the final driver to complete in today's racing, down in 32nd for the BS Hybrid team. That's going to be a huge workup for the number 60 driver. But we're officially away and about to get started on our lap. It's a nice and short formation lap here at Barcelona. Fortunately, not like the longer circuits, like we've seen at Le Mans or other circuits. It's nice and short, literally 2 corners. It's the last 2 of the Europe car chicane in New Holland. And now we come across to the checkered flag line. Watch for Joff. He's going to launch, and there he's already launched. Joff has pulled the car just on the exit of the corner. We're going green now, but Joff is well ahead now. Good little bit of distance he's made, about 3. Savio Pinicia has moved up, and Gulam Andre's lost out now. It's side by side between the two. Sorry, Cadence Presley up in front, not Joff. I'm used to only seeing a 1 Corvette out on track, and now Presley will have a bit of competition from Savio Panicia, but further behind, the rest of the grid navigates through Alf quite cleanly. Now up to Renault, they will go, and it is still Presley who holds the starting grid order from the rest of the cars. Great start to this race, though.
Yeah, off to a good start. a little cleaner than what we've seen earlier tonight so far. I mean, I'm not going to get my hopes up yet with this many cars in this little tight pack. There's going to be some action. But, yeah, good start.
Yeah, great start, definitely. Go for it.
I think that we're going to have a lot to look forward to, especially with Joff and Peterson being pretty much mid-pack now, and they're going to have to fight their way up to the front, and we get to see how those guys decide to deal with the traffic, as well as see if they get to hold their own in P1 and 2 all over again.
Well, I tell you, one of the things.
Yeah, indeed, and that's.
Oh, I'm sorry. One of the things that's going to be intriguing to me is these fast guys that are at the back of the pack. We've got several guys back there who are lightning fast, you know, that are stuck
not
way
even
back.
To mention, not even to mention Palo, who starts 30th, and he's really moved up probably a couple of positions from 30th. But no, never mind, he's not. He hasn't started this race. Pala has not started race number 2. So what a very poor weekend, unfortunately, at Barcelona for Ballas Pala. You'll get your live timings up on the left to
as
see
well
when the
as
drivers
Castro.
come through. Yeah, Castro as well not starting. They both had Chris Wett as well. All three of them not starting this race. Very unfortunate to see. But I think they all three had quite an unfortunate turn of events for race number 1. There in the background, you see Torcho looking all over the backside of one of the Mercedes. He's side by side now. But in the front 4, yeah, we see it's Joff up on the inside. He's moving. And guess who isn't moving? It's Nikolai Peterson, who's still in 8th position. But Joff has moved up 2 positions already, trying to claim that first position back. I have a feeling we're going to see Corvette versus Corvette as Joff chases in on Presley to hold off that P1.
We have Joff absolutely flying through the field to make it back to the top. It's great to see. Hooverson holding his own up there as well, up in P3. I think that
Oh, the leader just spun.
No, Presley's off. Presley's lost it through, I believe, seat or possibly one of the other corners. But there goes my Corvette prediction. He's down to 11th position. There won't be no fighting with Joff. He's lost out completely here, and just too much pressure on the young lad from 8th all the way up into 1st position for the second race, and he's completely lost it out now. Down to 10th position, he will go. And we were just talking about Greg Hooverson. A reminder again, he was the driver on our mid-race interview. We've gone dark slightly. As there we go. We see all the lights turning back on. It's a good old power back on. As Hooverson now in 2nd position. There's our driver we were chatting about. Remember that he was the driver who did the interviews in the in between race, in between AM and the pros. And if you do want to go watch that full interview with himself and Chris Harris, it is on the Foxxtecca YouTube channel. For the time being, I'd say do that afterwards, because if you are supporting Greg Hooverson in the Door Esports team, he's currently moved up to 2nd, all the way up so far. 3 positions gained. Leah Dragada 6 positions up as well. And it's great to see all the drivers navigating around. But Panicia has got trouble from behind. Seems we might have lost Shay again, unfortunately. And just having a couple of audio issues, man. That's unfortunate to have on your debut for commentating.
No
it's double pressure, unfortunately, for Shay. But nothing he can do. He's doing everything he can.
I was waiting for him to talk there as I was looking. I went back to try to find the incident where our leader spun here. I just wanted to see what happened since I only saw it on the timing tower. Just trying to see what. Just overcooked it in there a little bit in the back. That's a Corvette. That's a Corvette move right there. I can't lie. And for a guy who just switched to the Corvette, you know, if you don't have a bunch of laps in these cars, they'll get away from you.
And doing that, so he also proceeds to push off one of the golden pigeons over there. And again, being a little bit aggressive there from Presley. I think he was quite upset from losing all his positions. He didn't want to lose more. Micro Dell also gives him a little bit of a tap there, a bit further on. But now, about 5 minutes into this race, still 25 minutes left to go. Hooverson is now under contention from Grabowski. And Joff is also going to join in on this. Dragada's gotten the yellow flag for slowdown. But Panicia has been able to hold on. A new name here who might be claiming the win. I haven't seen Panicia's name. I don't think you have either, Jomo. Grabowski almost takes flight on the sausage curb over there. That's going to negatively impact his turn in over there. And as you can see, he's lost out a bit because here comes Joff side by side now with Grabowski to fight for 3rd position. And Joff will have the inside line if he's able to calculate this correctly. Unfortunately, he's been shoved to the outside. Will he have the run, though, to keep it up in front? They're going to go side by side through Elf Corner. And Joff, from the likes of Grabowski, will get into the lead. But through Renault now, Grabowski's going to have the lead. And he tries the undercut, but gets blocked off. Joff tries to get the undercut on the number 41, but gets forced wide yet again. and he'll have to settle for 4th for the time being.
Yeah, and Hooverson got a little out of shape there, and all of a sudden, Grabowski is all over him.
Yeah, and talking about out of shape, yellow flag for Hooverson as well. So another slowdown penalty. He's going to lose out to Joff as well because of that slowdown. So
he's twitching.
Yeah, Hooverson,
man,
just a little bit of pressure. Yeah,
his car is twitching all over. Man, he must have a really loose setup in that thing.
Yeah, loose setup. Maybe a little bit of contact he had with the driver, working his way up to 2nd position a little bit early on. Maybe something we didn't see, or he is just genuinely running a high esports setup, trying to pull all the pace out of that Mustang. But the issue with high esports setups, sure, they can be fast, especially in qualifying, but they do become a little bit unstable during racing. And that's exactly what we're seeing from Greg Hooverson. He's running a massive front brake bias as well. You can see it coming into the braking zones. Those front brakes are absolutely highlighting. So definitely running a little bit more closer to the front side of the car. It is typical in GT3 racing. The front usually does get priority, especially in the front engine drives. Yeah, Greg Hooverson is just trying to hold on at this point. That Mustang, that McLaren, well, I've mentioned the 2 M's except for the correct one. That Mercedes is just trying to hold on at this point, and let's hope he doesn't lose it in the next coming laps.
Yeah, now he's, Joff got by him here, and he's in a spot now. He's dropped back to 4th place. He was up in the 2nd there for a while. It'd be interesting to see. I'm sure that he's got plenty of time in this race to get his car back under him and get back in his rhythm. And, I'm pretty sure he's going to be challenging up here for the lead, or certainly trying to move forward towards the lead. The leader here is a bit of a shocker. Kind of out of nowhere for us. We don't really have a lot of information, about him. Just good to see a fresh face up here, though.
I think that a fresh face is something that we kind of need. It's always great to see someone come and upset the field by taking the front or taking the win when no one expected them to.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I see he's a part of the Klubine Motorsports. I wonder if that's got any relation to Klubine in the AM category, but that could also just be a general naming convention. But Savio Panicia, he's currently uncontested for the time being because Grabowski has fallen off 1.6 seconds of lap time, and he's got a huge strain behind him. Again, you can see the glowing on the front side of Joff's car over there into the heavy braking zone. Grabowski to Joff to Hooverson to Andre to Peterson to Dragota to Carr. My goodness, that is far too long of a train. It's all the way down to 15th position, from 2nd to 15th, all within overtaking distance of each other. So it's technically the battle for 2nd is quite a long one, so we'll have to see how that turns out. Brown gets ahead of Court, and they're switching quite a bit down in 23rd and 24th. I'm assuming that's coming out of the Caxia hairpin, but now coming to the next corner, Zane Card from the Altitude 3M Motorsports team, 12th, looking on the backside of Roll. This could be an overtake into the next corner if he's got the runoff, but I don't think he's gonna. I think Roll is gonna go defensive here. You can see he's slightly leaning towards the inside. No, late position. It's a bit of a bump though. Zane Khan gives him a bit of a tap, but manages to get up in front. Both drivers still facing forward, and I don't know whether to call that a good overtake. A bit of a bump there after that last-minute switch-up, but Zane Khan moves up to 11th.
I just want to make a clarification real quick of something I said earlier. When I said that Hooverson was running a loose setup, it is a fixed setup league. What I meant by that was running what you can adjust, which is a lot. Oh, we got somebody around there. Is that rolled? That is rolled.
Yeah, it's rolled. Yeah, it's rolled. He's gone off, just coming into out of Repsol towards Seat, and it seems like it's a high traction. It's a high. No, sorry. It's quite a heavy place for high traction loss. I've got to say, we've seen it a couple of times now with the drivers coming out of Repsol. Just on that downhill, the car just loses the rear end, and we've seen it with multiple different cars as well. It's not just with the Mercedes. As we see Nikolai Peterson now moving up into 6th position. He has Robertson. He's fighting quite heavily with the likes of Brown. Rolled is down to 28th position after the spin-off he's had. And so they're all contesting now down in 20th position. Brown will get ahead, though, trying to go around the outside of Jones. And Robertson. Jones is up ahead with Mirazan. And we'll have to see how that fight goes on. Mirazan on the backside now of Brown up in front. And, two Browns, not to get confused between the two. There's a Miles Brown and a Cameron Brown. So Miles Brown up in 23rd in the Merc, and then Cameron Brown down in the Mercedes, in the McLaren. And so we'll have to see how it holds out for all of them. Khan moves up ahead of Tyler Carnell for 10th position. And officially the first third of this race has been completed. 20 minutes left to go for Zane Khan.
Yeah, I wanted to finish my thought there just because there was some question about what was going on. When I meant Hooverson was running his car with a really loose setup, what I meant was he was running a lot of front brake bias, which is going to make the back end get, the front end will dig in, the back end will get a little twitchy. Or he could be running a heavy rear brake bias, which can get the car snappy, although he didn't really seem like it was snapping around. It was just twitching a lot. So my guess is that he's just got a lot of front brake in it right now, which was also indicated by the heavy brake bias. Oh, we got another car around. Who was that?
That's Ivanov. Ivanov's moved off. Yeah, Ivanov's lost out in the negative delta. Aston Martin. Unfortunate news as well from Shea. He has dropped us a comment there in the virtual grandstand. He's unfortunately out of the commentary box for the rest of the night. It seems like his microphone has given up on him. It's pulled a leg in, and unfortunate to see. But I believe Jim will still be able to join us here for the remainder of this race. 20 minutes left to go. And Andre up into fifth position now. He did start in second. He's lost out quite a lot though. And Hooverson just moved up in front of him. Peterson now on the backside will be wanting to chase onto this huge battle, as Andre has made a little bit of a gap now between Hooverson and Peterson. Let's hope that they can continue to pull on strong with Panicia. Has lost that gap that he had towards the start, as Grabowski now getting ever so closer to the lead of this race.
Yeah, the front end's tightening up here, and I think as they start to battle, it's even going to tighten up more. We're riding on board here with Leo Dragata, and I want to make, I mean, I say this occasionally, but I want to make a deal out of, we talk about the 13, 14, 15-year-old drivers and the amateurs, and we make a big deal when they, get a top 10. Leo Dragota is in that same kind of age bracket. He's somewhere in that 13 to 15 range, if I'm not mistaken. And he is consistently up here in the top 10, battling with these guys week in and week out. He is quite a young talent, and I am really excited to see what he has in store for his future, because he definitely has a lot of talent. And I mean, to be running up in the top 10 with the level of guys in this league, that is saying something for that age bracket for sure.
Yeah, as far as I know the Dragota are two brothers.
Yes.
The Dragotas are two brothers. And I mean, we've seen the other brother as well in some of the other leagues that we run here at Apex Racing TV. But I always get confused between the two. I don't know if Leo is the younger or the older brother.
Leo's the older of the two.
Leo's the older. So
yes.
Leo's about 16 or so. I know that his brother is about 13. So yeah, but I mean, still, it doesn't, despite the fact that he's a young guy and he's absolutely performing himself. And remember, this is the pro class nonetheless, so he's driving with 10K iRacing drivers, guys, literally Top Gun drivers.
Right. And
he is doing a phenomenal job up in 7th.
I have to say, I probably did Nikolai Peterson a disservice when he qualified on the pole. Again, I'm not commentating every week, so I'm not necessarily looking at the facts and stuff. I have a different job. My job is more about camera angles and things like that. And Nikolai Peterson is a 10,000 plus I-rated driver, which, to put that into perspective, that's like in the top 1% of I-rated drivers. So I wanted to, to pay that respect too, because again, I don't always look for the same thing a commentator would look for week in and week out. So I missed that, and I apologize for that. Clearly, if you're a 10,000 I-rated driver, you're fast as hell. No doubt about it. You're fast.
Definitely. Definitely, yeah. But I mean, it is also just good to see. I mean, obviously, he's competing now with Leo, and from what I can see, apologies, I've actually hit in the column quickly. Let me quickly pull it up. To see where he currently sits in terms of license. That's license, not I-rating. So Leo Dragota sits at 6,000 I-rating and Nikolai Peterson about 10,000. And I feel like that last 4,000 I-rating is definitely going to come down just more to pure experience. I feel like the speed difference between Dragota and Peterson will be roughly the same, as we do see Peterson is, he's not pulling necessarily away from Dragota, but it's going to come down to actual race experience and racecraft and awareness is where you gain those last 4,000. So it's kind of like an Alonso versus a rookie in Formula One, kind of. Peterson's got all the experience built up, and Dragota, a new gun joining the scene, and they're obviously fighting together. But the battle for first has definitely started to scale. It's no longer a lead for Panicia like he had with 1.4 seconds, and all the rest are now right on the tail.
This is a 4-horse race up here now for sure. I mean, you got Hooverson and Joff all over each other here. In fact, Hooverson's going to make a move on Joff and pass him right here.
There he goes, Hooverson on the inside line of Joff. And it's Mercedes versus Corvette. We're at the halfway mark of this race officially. And Molly Joff has now lost start. He's only got 15 minutes left to go before he has to try and pull his way back up to the top. The question is, can Panicia hold off from Grabowski and Hooverson? He's the new driver here. He's the new kid to the block. And all the OGs behind want their first place back. As you can see, Grabowski, Hooverson, Joff, they're all trying to fight. And I believe Peterson will eventually catch up to this fight. He's currently 2 seconds away. But he's got a bit of time to try and catch up if he does it in a swift manner. From the rest of the grid, though, still lots of fighting going on. Robertson gets ahead of Jones down to 24th position. And everybody's kind of in their own realm for battles right now. Khan and Halsband, as well as Ahmad, they're all in a bit of a long train currently coming towards Caxia now. And we'll have to see who comes out on top. But Zain Khan still leading that fight in the big Mustang. He's trying to chase on the backside of Ahmad and Dunnett. And he's got a little bit of a gap now built from Halsband and King.
Yeah, right before we switched up there to the lead battle, I saw that Zain Khan had an incident. I wanted to go back and see what it was. I think he had gained some positions, and now he's back to where he qualified at. But oh yeah, okay. So yeah, and he stopped on track to let the person he spun there. I believe that was our Presley, our pole sitter for this race. And he did the sportsman-like thing there and sat and waited for him, but that obviously cost him some position. So Khan had made up some nice spots, but he's back now where he started, qualified at 16th. But yeah, we'll see how that goes from here and see what he does. But back up here to the lead as Grabowski's trying to make a move on. How do you say his name? I'm sorry.
Panicia.
I'm horrible at names. Again, that's why they have me on cameras. But I just want to point out that Panicia is a 3600 I-rated driver. So, and he's up here leading this race and battling with some of these guys that are higher I-rating drivers. So, I just wanted to point that out just because we were talking about I-ratings and stuff. And, that doesn't mean you don't have speed if your I-rating is there. It's like you said, it comes down to a lot to experience. And, how many official races you run, what you do to, for a finishing position in those races and things like that. So I-rating doesn't always tell the whole story for sure.
You can see it with Peterson. I mean, the difference of 10K, this, I don't think we can recall any incidents that Peterson has been in this entire season. He basically never has any form of, self-inflicted incident. And in terms of his racecraft against other drivers, it is absolutely incredible. And that's where the 10K I rating difference would come in versus someone like Panicia, which I'm not calling it in terms of what he's done. But as an example, a driver on 3,000 I rating, yes, he could be leading this race, but maybe less experience with leading and defending. He could possibly lose out to Grabowski if he's not careful, as Grabowski is all over the backside. And Hooverson also 9K I rating down in 4th position. So they're going to be fighting up soon. As you can see, he's alongside Joe.
And I would say Hooverson is a pretty aggressive driver, so we may see him get involved in a few more incidents than you see with Peterson, because Hooverson is pretty aggressive. Over the last 2 seasons, we've seen him get into some real wingdings with some people. I mean, some great battles, and certainly the likes of Pala and. Name from last season, but well documented, obviously. And here we go. Grabowski's trying to make a move here.
And there we go. There comes the outside line, and I don't know if Nietzsche's going to be able to defend this one, as Grabowski now holding that outside line. Is he going to be able to make it stick? He's on the inside now for the next corner, coming towards New Holland. And he seems like he's going to be able to hold it. Here comes the danger, though, because Pala is alongside. A bit of a tap there from Benicia. But he's got to watch out now because, not Pala, sorry, Molly Joff in 3rd position is now on the backside of Panicia, and he's got to watch out for it because Joff is hungry to try and get back up to where he started in this race. He started in 8th, I believe, but he's going to do a lot to try and get back to where he was. As you can see Joff now pulling alongside, but Hooverson also pulling alongside, the two of them on the inside of the track going too wide, and now Hooverson's going to hold the inside and possibly overtake Joff.
Yeah, and I think Panicia, what you saw from Panicia right there was exactly what we talked about as Hooverson's getting by him as well now, getting by Joff. I mean, what you saw there was exactly that experience. Panicia had moved over to defend, and he got. Oh, they're off.
Oh, he's off. Yeah, I thought something went on quite huge here. That's Joff. He's been completely taken out, and that looked like contact with Hooverson. I think it was a bit of a pit maneuver there. We'll try and get a replay of that for you. And I think Hooverson, just on the inside line of Joff, they got sandwiched and left nowhere for him to run. Into the side of Marley Joff he goes. And now Joff down to 9th. Will be competing with Torture a bit further down. So yeah, it's coming through Repsol. There you can see Nikolai Peterson has joined the fight behind them. And this is with Greg Hooverson.
Oh, he got out on the
goes
curb.
outside. Peterson got inside. And indeed he does just get smacked. And that's the pit maneuver.
That was Peterson,
into
wasn't
the back
it?
of the wall he goes. Yeah, no, that was... Hooverson who tapped him. Peterson on the inside line.
Okay, I'm
tapped,
gonna go back.
I believe.
I'm gonna go back and look at it one more time.
Peterson. Yeah, so Peterson is the yellow and black, and Hooverson is the blue.
Yeah.
So I believe Peterson dives on the inside, gives a tap to
right.
Hooverson, and that just smacks into the other side of Joff.
Hooverson either got on the curb or got tapped by Peterson, and he had a big wiggle, and that's when he hit Joff.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. He was pinned in the middle. And not much he could do there, in all honesty. He did get a bit of a tap there from Peterson. And again, like you say, it could have been him cutting in too soon. It could have been Peterson sticking his nose in. And unfortunately, just trying to catch himself from spinning, it did lead to Joff receiving the consequences.
If I'm being honest, I think that if Hooverson doesn't get the bump or the wiggle there, I don't want to call Peterson out because I didn't 100% see that. But either way, if Hooverson doesn't get the wiggle there from whatever caused it, I don't think they touch. Hooverson and Joff have run side by side enough that I think they would have went through that corner clean there. I think the wiggle, just ended up causing that incident. I don't think that was as much a driver error as just kind of a racing incident, so to speak.
Yeah, no, definitely a racing incident. And there was nothing that Hooverson could have done there to avoid the contact with Joff. It is just one of those things, trying to control your own car. And I mean, he did a great job of controlling it. It could have gone way worse. He could have gone completely sideways into Joff, but he managed to just save it. Unfortunately, Joff on the outside line got a bit of a tap, and he really didn't actually get that much damage. I think he got a tad bit of damage on the inside where he got tapped, but he completely avoided the wall. And still in 8th position, still up in the top 10, competing for points here on the backside of Mike Odell. That Corvette is 100% drivable. So, in my opinion, things could have been a lot worse. So
and
it's still good stuff around track.
That's a situation where he had a lot of faith in Hooverson, and he was right on his door. And, like I said, whatever caused that wiggle, was really a sign of respect that kind of caused that, because he had enough faith that he would put his car right there in that spot on Hooverson, not expecting Hooverson to make a mistake, And I don't necessarily think that was a mistake. I think he might have gotten tapped there, but either way, it's just an unfortunate racing incident. But now Dragotta is ahead of Hooverson after that little incident. And, of course, Peterson is also back up into 3rd place.
Let's see. Is Dragotta going to be able to defend against Hooverson? That's going to be the main question. He's got 6 minutes left to try and defend against the high-rating driver, Hooverson. Loads of experience under his name. Leo Dragotta, one of the young guns. And we'll have to see, is the experience going to be paying off yet to try and keep it up in front?
I would guess that this is exactly where Leo Dragotta is at in his learning phase right now. He's fast, and he's learning to be a better defensive driver. And I have seen improvement in that over the last few seasons that I've watched him in the other league here on Apex Racing TV. And I'm seeing him better at defending his positions. And, as we all know, there's an art to that as well. Being fast is one thing. Being able to be fast and defend is another.
Yeah, it's a completely different ball game, trying to defend while still trying to keep up with the driver in front. And most of the time, that's why you usually see the drivers behind catch up to drivers fighting, as we see Joff now getting yet another position. If he can stick it around the outside, it looks like he's going to be able to. Moves up ahead of Mike Odell. Panicia gets a slowdown, and I think that's going to put Peterson up into 2nd position. Indeed, it is. Peterson gets ahead on the back straight now due to that slowdown, and Panicia is going to chip in right behind him. And so Peterson on the backside of Grabowski 5 minutes left to go, 1.6 seconds of a distance. Can Peterson do it? Can he catch up and win this race, or is he going to remain dormant in second? Only time is going to tell. Will Leo Dragota fall under the pressure of Hooverson, or can he catch up to Panicia? This is all going to be what's to tell coming to the end of this race. 4 minutes left of racing to go, and things are turning for the better here for this top 6.
Yeah, this is getting exciting up here, and now you got Dragota here on the back of Panicia, but of course he's got Hooverson all over him. I'm not sure if he's driving out of his windshield or his rearview mirror right now. It could be either one.
Yeah, sometimes you can't focus too much on the backside because when you're focusing on the back, you don't often move forwards. But that's also the art of sim racing, is navigating both of those, watching the back and also managing the front. And that's exactly what Leo Dragota is going to do right now. He's chasing onto Panicia, but he's also going to make sure that he doesn't jeopardize himself coming from Hooverson now on the outside line of Panicia. Oh, love tap on the backside. He's trying to find his way around Panicia. He was faster. Yeah,
that right there is an American racing move right there. Put that bumper on him. But Hooverson's going to take advantage of that, and I believe he's going to get Dragota right here.
Yeah, he is. He's gone the inside line. He's got it. Dragota being forced on the sausage curb. He almost lost out from Andre as well from behind, actually. And he's got to watch out for it if he doesn't want to lose this position. He's in the slipstream now of Hooverson, who's made his way up, and Panicia has now gotten a little bit of breathing room, and Craig Hooverson almost had that actually as well. He had a much better exit speed coming out of the chicane there, and now side by side, Hooverson and him are just back to back, bumping into each other. 3 minutes left to go. It is a very, very pinnacle moment here for the battle for fourth.
Yeah, I tell you what, just you need to watch out for Guillermo Andre, but he's right there. I mean, he's all in this mix here, and nobody's, we're not talking about him, but he could easily take a position or two here. I'll quote somebody who said one time he's flashing his lights right there, like, oh no!
Oh, that's Grabowski. Grabowski's lost it out of seat. Same thing that Presley did at the start of this race. So, oh my gosh, Dennis Grabowski's lost out, and Peterson moves up into first. Benicia second. Dragota he's now fighting for third position. This is the battle for the podium spot, and Dragota's got the inside line going into the next corner, and he looks like he might have it because Peterson's under pressure now from Andre. What a switchback though! My goodness, Hooverson
and then he wrecked him. Come on.
That is so unfortunate, man. Oh, it was looking like such a good battle between the two of them.
Come on. You can't just do that. Oh, and that's Hooverson. A
little bit unfortunate there.
Yeah, that's, I think Grabowski's going to get Hooverson there. Well, he didn't, but I know Hooverson's bumper looked like it came off on the track.
And from that fight, they've now both lost out from the podium opportunity because Guillaume Andre moves up into third position, and he's well ahead of Dragota now. And unfortunately, with a 3-second gap and only a minute and 10 seconds left to go, there's not much of a chance here for Dragota. I think he's going to be quite upset with that one because he was really doing well. I feel like that cut inside was a little bit aggressive from Hooverson. He really wanted to try and make the position stick, but just too aggressive on the brakes, too late, and unfortunately saw the inside
the
of Dragota.
switchback portion of it was phenomenal, but then he couldn't get the car slowed up enough to make the turn, and that's where the problem came in there. That was an unbelievable switchback move. We both gasped when he did it. It was fantastic.
Oh, Hooverson gets a black flag. Black flag penalty now. Oh man, that is I feel like he's just kind of ruined his race there a bit. He's completely taken it from competing with the podium, and now 7th position with a black flag penalty. That's going to have to be a drive-through or just taking the 40 seconds at the end of the race, but this is going to push him down very far off the order after those penalties. That is so unfortunate from Hooverson. And here comes Peterson. There he is coming across. This is just coming out of Axley, I believe it was.
Oh, this is it. This is going to be the checker flag right here.
Keksa. And coming through New Holland, it is indeed the final lap for the likes of Peterson. Out of the Europe car turn, he comes through New Holland, and that is officially a checkered flag waved for Peterson. What a great turn of events for himself.
Wow.
From 8th position, all the way up into first. Peterson makes it up, and up he goes to first. Panicia takes second. Andre takes third. Dragota to fourth. Joft will take 6, but effectively, well, yeah, so 6. And Hooverson, he's going to lose a lot of points after that black flag penalty, but that is officially a checkered flag. What a race for the pros.
Yeah, because Hooverson's going to take a 40-second hit there. And 40 seconds at this end of the field is a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got a comment about live stewarding. Is there live stewarding in this?
No,
Unfortunately
there's not.
Yeah, the stewards have a bit of a. There will be a look after the race and analysis in terms of points. As there's a week break between each race, so they'll have some time to go and determine all the possible points and incidents that need to be handed out. So if you believe that a driver was done in, don't worry. I believe it will be looked into towards the stewarding side of things. But that's officially it. Mirazan coming across though to still finish off in 28th position. And that is officially the racing over here for tonight. We've got a couple of drivers ready for interviews. I see Mayo Dianarine is also back from the Pro-Am grid. So it's great to see that we'll get to see some Pro-Am commentary as well from the drivers. But I believe, Jim, if you're ready, we can go straight to interviews.
Well, we got to do our results here. We're waiting on these guys to finish up. We got guys out here doing loop-de-loops out here on the track.
Mirazan's come across. Zurich hasn't come across the checkered flag line, so not too sure where he sits currently. There we go, coming across the checkered flag. Last driver to finish off, and now we can officially go through our standings for today's racing. But it is indeed Nikolai Peterson who takes the win yet again here, and he's had a great round of events at Barcelona. First place in Savio Peniche. Oh, that Mustang's taking a dead toll in the background. Guillaume Andre will take third. Yad Regatta takes fourth. Dennis Grabowski will take fifth, and Molly Joff takes 6th. Michael O'Dell moves up to 7th. Tyler Carr 8th. 9th for Alessandro Torcio. Joe Manzoli takes 10th. Zain Khan 11th, followed by 12th is Cadence Presley. Paul Knight takes 13th. Zoe Ahmad takes 14th. Ty Dunnett will take 15th. With Tyler King 16th. 17th will be the likes of Elliot Court, followed by Kyle Robertson in 18th. Andrew Herschel done in 19th. Gabriel Jones will take 20th. With Miles Brown 21st. The other Brown, Cameron Brown in 22nd. Eric Halsband will take 23rd. Lucas Souza 24th, and Greg Hooverson today's order. But that is officially it for the racing. We've got 2 drivers ready for the interviews, and we're going to bring in Mr. Cadence Presley here to have a bit of a chat with him. Cadence, you are live on the commentary box at Apex Racing TV for the league by Foxxtecca. And I mean, wow, talk us through that race. You had such a good start for race number 2, and then just fell off there coming out of the seat corner.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous, first time starting on pole. I was extremely proud of myself for holding on to 8th place. It was a fun race, I still had a great time. Going into the hairpin, it's different in this car. I swapped to the Corvette instead of the Mustang this time. And going into that corner, you have to hold the brakes a little bit more in the Corvette to get the car to rotate, and I just held the brakes a little bit too much, spun the car around. But I was able to continue going and make minimal mistakes, although I made more mistakes than I did in race 1. I had a bit of an incident with Zain Khan, and I just want to commemorate him real quick because he demonstrated extreme integrity and respect. He had no obligation to wait for me, but he did it, and he did wait for me in coming into the second hairpin, and I have so much respect for him after that because he had no obligation to do so, and I just want to say thank you. It was an amazing, respectful.
Yeah, we saw that one with Zain Khan, and I was literally about to mention it, but you've beat me to it. So, but great sportsmanship shown there from Zain Khan. And I mean, overall, we spoke a little bit into race number 2. How was race number 1? You said it was going better in race number 2 up and towards the end, but how did race 1 go there for you?
Let's talk about
race 1.
Let's talk about that last lap with you two banging doors to fight for that pole position. That was super exciting.
Yeah, I really wanted to keep that position. About 2 laps to go, I made a couple of mistakes and went wide and almost spun in that same hairpin that I spun in race 2. But I just wanted to hold that position. I'm like, I'm not gonna let it up. I want to get this position. I want to start pole position. I want to get my name out there. I want people to see that I can do it. And I did. I made that move. I made it stick. It was a bit rough, but rubbing's racing. We made a little bit of contact. No damage was put out. There was only 0 exits. It was great racing, and we left each other space the entire time. It was an amazing race. I had a really good time. I was holding 8th place. I was holding my own. I was keeping up my lap times, and towards the middle of the race, I was getting really nervous, and then I was telling myself, you need to tap into that cadence that is unstoppable, that is untouchable. and I started putting down qualifying lap times every single lap, and I was able to hold eighth position.
Yeah, and you did that, man. And everybody in the virtual grandstand was also cheering you on for holding that 8th position. And I mean, it converted so well for race number 2. But I mean, we head to Donington Park next week. It's a completely different type of circuit, very narrow, very technical. And how are you feeling? Are you sticking in the Corvette or changing up again?
No, I'm going to stick in the Corvette for the rest of the season. But I do not even own Donington Park on iRacing, so I'm going to have to get some serious laps in.
You're going to have to go find some funds if you don't have available and try get some laps in Donington Park.
Time to increase
Jim,
the sponsorship.
Yeah, exactly. Jim, anything from your side before we...
No, I mean, the only thing I want to
mic?
do is I want to congratulate you on, I love that little hip check you did to make sure that you kept that 8th position. That was exciting little battle right there at the end for us. We enjoyed that a lot. And the first race, obviously. And I just want to give you props for 2 things. For shouting out to Khan for waiting on you. That's a class move on your part as well. Instead of talking about the fact that he spun you, you didn't. You talked about you had an incident. You didn't even say what happened, and all you did was you said he waited for you, and you gave him props. I love that, and I like the fact that you were willing to admit that you were nervous starting on the pole with this kind of field of drivers. And I think a lot of people that's good for a lot of people to hear because anybody that says that they're first time starting on pole with this kind of field of drivers behind them and not nervous, they're lying. So. Props to you for all of that.
I appreciate that so much. And in addition to that incident, I'm sorry. In addition to that incident, I could take probably 50 to 60% of that for the blame because I barely left Zane room, and he's gonna run a little wide if he brakes later than the maximum braking point. So I don't think I left him quite enough room for that, and he had absolutely no obligation to wait for me. So it was an amazing drive from Zane.
Again, props to you. There's a lot of guys that would have came in here screaming exactly the opposite of that.
Yeah, 100%. So, and you see it often as well. Yeah. But, I mean, Cadence, from your side, anybody you'd like to thank or anybody you'd like to mention before heading out?
Yeah, I would like to thank my buddies at Freem for supplying me with some racing gear and some racing gloves that are coming in pretty soon here. I'd like to also thank my parents and especially my dad for providing me all the equipment that I need to do this and to get my name out there and for paying for the series. And I appreciate everything that he's done for me, and I wanna make our name out there, and I want him to be proud of me. So
well, Dad,
thank you
for
allowing me on the
Donington
channel.
Park, Dad.
Yes.
No, I'm paying for that. That's my money.
Okay, that's
good job.
Good initiative from your side.
All right, buddy. Look,
it's great.
But thanks again for stopping in and visiting with us, and we enjoyed it. You're a class kid, man, and I can't wait to see you do some great things in here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.
Incredible stuff. Well, that was Mr. Cadence Prizzi. Thanks again for joining us. And so we've got a couple more joining us in
Let's bring in
commentary box.
Mayor, just because he waited around.
Yeah, we're going to bring in Mayor. We've got about 5 or so minutes left. Let's try get them done. Mayor, welcome into the commentary box. You're live on Apex Racing TV. And I mean, talk us through that AM race. It was absolutely incredible to watch.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, lap 1, race 1, I think I started 6th and ended up getting to 2nd place by the exit of turn 1, which was incredible. I was just watching the leader. I was just waiting for him to go. As soon as he went, I got on the gas and timed it perfectly. And then I think it was coming around to turn 4 or 5. Somebody went up the inside of me, and I think I don't know. I can't even remember if it was race 1 or 2. And they just hit me, and I lost so much time and ended up having to drive back up. And I think 3rd place I was running for the rest of the race, and I thought I was going to catch Alex Russell and Carell at the end. But unfortunately, I didn't. But I'm happy with 3rd place. I'm leading the championship right now, so the goal is to just continue racking up the points and finishing in some high podium places.
And tell me quickly, what diabolical method did you use to send a virtual grandstand message while leading 2nd position in a race? Like you got to tell us about that.
Well, I mean, I'm a racing driver in real life, right? So multitasking is our best friend. We have to be able to focus on talking to our race engineers as well as changing multiple things within the car and focus at driving at top speed. So for me, it was nothing. Just typing in the chat and continuing to drive my race and honestly having fun. Right, the league is here to make you a better driver and again for fun. Right, if you're not having fun, there's no point in racing. So for me, just again, multitasking is my friend. So that's really it.
Incredible stuff. I mean, Jim,
I
anything
hate
from
you.
your side before we
I
close
hate
off?
you just for that. So have you?
Why?
So I'm going to tell you. You think that race was exciting for you? I don't know if you've had a chance to go back and watch it while this one was going on, or not. But if you think it was exciting up there from the front, wait till you watch the whole race, because it was absolutely crazy behind you. And I just want to compliment you and say that right now you are my lead vote for livery of the year. And it's not just for one livery. It's the fact that you are bringing a sweet new livery almost every week. And like the Suzuka thing you did last week, that was insanely awesome with the cherry blossoms and all that. And then this week's livery was really cool with the chrome and the red. And so, yeah, just keep bringing those killer liveries, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, if I had to ask you this question, which one do you think is the best? Because honestly, I can't even pick myself.
The cherry blossom livery was pretty awesome, man. You know, I mean, that's one of those liveries that the second you see it, you go, wow. You know, and that doesn't happen every time. Your livery today was great. Well, you know, one of the better liveries in the field, I would even say. But you know, that cherry blossom livery was a wow, and that's you know, that doesn't happen every time. So that was a winner for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that so much. And I mean, I'm 16 years old, right? So I'm still going to school and racing in real life. So I'm constantly on the sim. I'm constantly in the gym and still having to go to school. So taking an hour or two to try and throw up a livery is probably the least I can do. If I took some time and got maybe a full day or a week, I could put together a masterpiece. But next week and the following races, there'll be some interesting liveries for sure.
That's embarrassing that he literally just says he can create those in an hour or two. Like, I think I'm just going to actually quit sim racing. Like, seriously?
Right. That's why I commentate.
Exactly. But, I mean, Maya, anything you'd like to say or thank before you head out?
Well, first of all, I really like to thank Foxxtecca in the league, as well as Apex Racing TV and Dio Racing for allowing me to be in the racing series, racing for them as a team, as well as my parents for putting up with me, and basically everybody who's supported me from sim racing to real life.
So tell us real quick tell us about your real life racing real quick. Tell us where you're racing at, what series you're doing, where you're at in your career. You know, that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So last year I raced in the GB4 championship. So it's like British F4, and that's a single-seater championship. This year we're looking to do GB3, which is the step above that. Kind of level to what you would find like a Formula Regional, a bit slower than like a Formula 3 car. Mm-hmm. And before that I did some prototype stuff in Radicals. I did some USF 2000 racing. And karting before that, a lot of stuff in Europe. So I'm pretty early into my career. I think I'm only about 6 years in total. So still got a long way to go, and just looking to, I guess, keep progressing and ultimately get to the highest level I possibly can, whether it's IndyCar, it's closed wheel, or even Formula One maybe.
All right, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to, see where you were at, so we could keep an eye on your name as time goes on and everything. I want to be able to call you up one day and say, hey, you remember me? No, I need tickets.
I need tickets. You got to use it.
You got any pit passes I can get or what? No, I'm kidding. But no, congratulations, man. You're having a heck of a season right now, and it's been fun to watch it. It's been great to see those liveries, and I'm looking forward to see what you bring the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Cheerio. Have a good one. That was Mr. Mayo Dianarin. We have officially run out of time for today's racing.
Bring Holloway in real quick. Let's give him a quick shot.
You want to bring Holloway or the new driver? We've got a new driver also sitting and waiting. I don't know if we should chat to him quickly. We've got Panicia.
Oh yeah,
in
bring
the
Panicia in. Yeah,
virtual.
real quick. All right,
We're gonna
sorry. Yeah.
we'll bring a quick thing of Panicia. Panicia, you are live in the commentary box here at Apex Racing TV. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, you're relatively new to Foxxtecca, right? Was this your first round of racing?
I believe this is my second round. I did
Second.
the first round at Spa,
Okay,
and then
makes sense.
I had to miss a couple because I was in Texas mechanicking on go-karts for FAF Kart Sport. So missed a few races,
see.
but we're back.
What part of
I
you
mean,
from
talk us through
Texas or what?
No, I'm from Canada.
Oh, okay. I live in
And I mean,
Texas.
talk
That's
us
why
through
I
this. Talk us through this race. I mean, yeah, you obviously led at the start for quite some time, and then it kind of slowly started to fall off a bit as Grabowski started to catch up. What was going through the mind there?
Yeah, honestly, I was just really nervous this whole race. I mean, I didn't think I'd have the pace. I just bought the track yesterday. I didn't even know I didn't have the track, and I bought it last night, and I was like, yeah, I think I have to do some practice. But it was just I tried my best. I kept it tried to keep it on the racetrack and tried to go as fast as I can.
Oh, you definitely did that. You managed to keep it up in front. But I mean, you head to Donington Park next week. Are you going to be there for that one?
I should be. Yeah, I think so.
Do you own
Great
Donington
stuff.
Park?
And
I do not. I
Yeah,
gotta buy it. I gotta buy that too.
second person who's got to go buy Donington Park. Great stuff. But before you head out of the commentary box, is anybody you'd like to thank or mention?
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to thank first, obviously, Foxxtecca for the league. Really great league. I'm very happy to be part of it. And Apex and you guys at the commentary. And I'd really like to thank Justin Klubine at Klubine Motorsports for putting his trust in me and starting our sim program. So he's the main person I really want to thank here for. He's the one that actually brought me here. So
Awesome.
very, very thankful for him.
Incredible stuff.
All right.
Well, thanks so much for joining us in the commentary box. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
Since Holloway is from the first race also, right? Let's bring Holloway in real quick. He waited around to get interviewed.
Last one over
Yeah,
here,
let's
Mr.
go.
Lewis Holloway. You're live on the commentary box at Apex Racing TV. I know you've been waiting a while, but I mean, obviously from the ad category, I know it's been a while. I mean, talk us through your race there for Costa and Camber.
Yeah, it was. This week was a lot better for me, honestly. We finally got a really decent qualifying for the first race. I think P18. Finished the first heat in, I believe, made it up to P14, so made up 4 places. Second race was going a lot better, made it up to P6 at one point. And towards the end there, just had a spin against, I think, Kristen Montgomery was one of the back markers. And I just got a little bit impatient with getting past her and honestly got her confused. I was chasing 5th, and there was 2 back markers that I just got mixed up with. So I thought she was the car that I was chasing. So I got aggressive and ended up spinning myself out. So still finished P10. Ended up being, I think, my best finish so far, if not my best finish of the season with Foxxtecca, so in the league. So overall, really enjoyed the track and really enjoyed the outcome, despite, a little bit of a mistake towards the end there.
So one thing I want to say is, look, the improvement of watching you from last season to this season.
Man.
Yeah, no, it's quite a bit different. You can tell that you learned a lot, and you're still learning. You literally right there just said, "Hey, I got too aggressive with the back marker, and it cost me positions." The next time you're in that spot, clearly you're not going to make that same mistake twice. Hopefully, So you're learning, and that's what this is all about. And but yeah, to see the improvement that you've had from last season to this season. It's noticeable, and believe me, we do notice. We may not always get you on the broadcast or talk about it during the broadcast, but where you were running last season and the mistakes that you made. Not that you made a bunch, but when you did make mistakes, we're seeing a different driver this season for sure.
I really appreciate that, and that's why getting a chance, like going into this season for me, a big part of it was being able to demonstrate the improvement. I know that my pace isn't there yet to run with run up at the front, but being able to demonstrate a more consistent driver that has more pace and really demonstrate, what I believe that I'm able to do, both, individually and, as a member of the Camber and Caster team. They've done a lot of work as well, racing together, doing some endurance events in the off season, so to speak, to, continue improving. I, finally was able to upgrade a few components in home as well, get actual proper rig going with, seat and chassis and everything. So I think that's also definitely helped with like consistency. So, it's been a lot of fun improving, getting better, being more consistent. And today's race for me was a big example of that, not only being consistent and fast, but being able to take advantage of, a pretty, busy race, from people in front of me and being able to capitalize on those mistakes by keeping cool and calm for the most part. So, yeah, man, it was great. I'm looking forward to next week already.
Yeah, great stuff from your side. And I mean, anybody you'd like to thank or mention before you head out the commentary box?
Yes, I'll make it quick. I want to just shout out Foxxtecca, the league. Thank you guys at Apex Racing as well for, just your awesome broadcasting, watching the stream and everything has been great. Cameron Castor as well, Jesse, who's also racing in the league here as well. I want to shout out to you guys at home and then everybody here in San Diego, sunny San Diego, California, and Mary Mason in particular. Just thank you guys for supporting and watching. And looking forward to next week. Thank you guys.
Incredible stuff. Well, thanks so much for joining us here tonight.
Thank you.
Have a good one. And that was our final interviewee. Jim, it has been a long one yet today.
Yeah, it's good. But it's been good. It's been good race. It's been a lot of fun. Race. A lot of fun today. And I couldn't leave Holloway out on his best finish and waited around from the first race.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that.
Sometimes it is worth going a couple minutes over time.
Absolutely.
But that is officially it now for the round number 5 of the league by Foxxtecca. We're officially done and dusted with Barcelona. And the second last time you'll be seeing Format B this season. We head to Donington Park next week. Format A will be coming to you live. And a very technical circuit. If you've been wanting to watch something that's going to throw some curveballs, definitely be there. Matthew will definitely be here. I think he would come here even if he was in a deathbed. I think he'd be at Donington Park. So thank you so much for joining us though tonight. And it's been an absolute pleasure commentating on this with you. My name has been Tristan Herbst, joined in the commentary box provisionally by Shay Wilson, who was just having a couple of audio issues, and as well as Jim Cunningham, our cameraman, commentator. What can't he do? So incredible stuff there as well.
Drive,
but thank you so much,
apparently.
and we'll see you next week. Yeah, drive or pronounce names. But anyway,
yes, that's right.
Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. We'll see you next week live at Apex Racing TV with Foxxtecca. Have a good one.